he said the surgery was taken earlier in the year, and that later in the year some of the things got sorted out, but it was that maybe there was a misunderstanding of some players thought what the training room is in other organizations, what it is for them. Basically meaning that, hey, you're there to go get treatment and then get the hell out. I'm paraphrasing here. But that's
not be friends, or I don't know. It was kind of a weird sense.
Like,
he was way more defending the staff than the players.
Yeah, it was either say, hey, maybe like he's a hard ass, but it's what he's supposed to be in the training room, and or that maybe in other training rooms players around to just hang out while other people are getting treatment, and maybe again, this is
maybe they got a no nonsense policy
speculation, but basically what he said. Maybe it's like, hey, you get your treatment, get the hell out. Hey, you're not getting treatment, get out. You're not.
And he's an organized guy, and it might just be that. You know, we talk about like how he runs a harder training camp. He might very well run a harder training room, as in get training, or you're going to take you to your training limit. To me, that's probably what the Chiefs are doing. And look, I've been critical of them in the injury stuff earlier of Reid's career, so it wouldn't shock me. I thought they completely mishandled. Like, if we're going to go back, they mishandled the Justin Houston injury in a really bad way. They mishandled part of the Tamba stuff. I do think this is what happened with Mahomes. It's not a bad thing. We look at it as a positive because of what they got him to. But they put him on his medical limit. They put him all the way to the absolute grindstone to get that ankle ready to play. He had to get treatment essentially 24 hours a day for a week straight in order to do it. But they won a Super Bowl.
They put together an incredible plan, obviously, to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think that maybe some of it's that. Some of them, they're probably baby a little bit more, right?
The other part of his answer had to do with the facilities, because that was the other aspect of this, which is, and Andy said he doesn't think the facility is behind the times, but he did point out, he's like, look, you're not going to put something into something that might change in the future. That's what he was alluding to, basically, that, like, you don't upgrade a facility that you might have other plans for in the future.
Yeah, dude, he's openly admitting the same thing. It'd be like, if you were getting ready to buy a new car in a month, you're like, I'm not going to fix that slow air leak. I'm just going to keep air up the tire, and I'm going to go buy this new car here in a month. They're saying the same thing we all know. Yeah. Their plan, after the Royals announce their move to downtown and get the vote or whatever, they're going to announce their big plan to make this all very, very, very different. I think the Chiefs are just going to get a new stadium rather than make the one that they have now.
But I think they're staying at the complex.
Agreed. But I think they'll get a new physical stadium that will have all the state-of-the-art stuff, everything that they're used to. But there's this thing, like, it's really hard to understand unless you've, like, been in Arrowhead and then been in those parts of Arrowhead where the locker rooms are and then been in them in another stadium. They're tiny. They're cramped. There's not enough space. And the reason why is there just physically isn't the space. It's not that the Chiefs can create it. It's they also want seats or a tunnel or area. There isn't enough physical room inside the facility for some of the things that, like, might happen in Inglewood or Dallas or some of these other stadiums that essentially built on these big mega plots of land and could put whatever the hell they wanted in the stadium area as big as they wanted in this area. He's openly admitting they're going to leave. Why would we pour a bunch of money into something we're going to leave?
I mean, the stadium itself was built 50-plus years ago, and they've done renovations. The training facility, not as in truly their practice facility, that's newer, right? That's a newer facility, but it's still pretty small overall in the grand scheme of things.
It is.
I'm not where, like, not Arrowhead, but if you drive in, you obviously see the football-shaped building, or the part of the building has the football, whatever you want to call it. It's a practice facility.
I think just they were trying to limit themselves because they always knew that the lease on this thing would run out. I was a little bit surprised he didn't back the players more just knowing that, but I guess they're all coworkers based on that scenario.
Yeah.
By the way,
Burkle's been with him forever.
So
Philly days.
Training facility, that's okay. So the training and the report card, that was interesting. That was one. Andy talking about Mahomes' contract.
Yeah, we'll get back into that because it relates to the news today that Jalen Hurts got a new deal. We'll get to that coming up in the noon hour.
That was interesting. Also, I think you and Andy can work together on something.
Oh, really?
I think you and Andy.
I'll take okay. All right.
Look, I think they need to put their minds together, and I think you two need to find the best allergist in Kansas City because you both sound exactly the same today. Everyone on the text line pointed it out.
He's had the cough thing a lot longer than I have. Mine is the last 3 weeks where it's been bad. And I told you, I think it's allergies. I've been doing the
What do you think it's with Andy then?
I'm not going to speculate there. But for me, it's allergies. And I told you I switched it up. We're trying the Flonase today. And as of last night, it's going to take a couple days to get in that. And now I'm good. It's usually an earlier in the morning thing. I can already tell that it's gotten better.
It definitely has gotten better as the day
has gone on. But when I wake up in the morning, the allergies are a problem. And it's caused this crap in my throat, and it's affected at times.
It affected your performance. Let's just be honest.
I've had to hit the off button on the microphone a little bit. But
I think that you and Andy could get together and find an allergist. I think he might also need an allergist.
I don't know, man.
He's just like
The text line definitely right away said Andy's sounding like gold today. Andy and Alex need to collaborate to find the best allergist in KC.
Someone says a good way to beat allergies is to take a teaspoon of natural wildflower honey each day.
What?
Well, first, honey is actually really good. They say for kid allergy because they carry all the plants that would be in this area. So if you're giving them honey from this area, you'd be better off.
Interesting. Okay.
Is this going to be a flower draft? The best flower?
No.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you continue. I was going to say something.
Do you need me to
No,
put the mock draft on
it's
hold?
not that important. It's something funnier
Allergy related?
No. It's something that has happened consistently during our show, but I think we resolved it last week, and then now maybe it's shifted.
Residual effects?
It's impacted you now.
Okay,
so,
we'll
yeah.
get to that later, but we have a limited amount of time here, so I need to get right to it. Today's mock draft comes to us from, and I think this is the first time we've referenced this guy's last. I'm certain of that. Michael Middlehurst Schwartz of USA Today.
Wait, what?
Michael Middlehurst Schwartz has released.
That's a name.
Schwartz?
Has released.
Oh, I thought it was a cousin of yours.
Has released his first mock draft, guys, and just the headline of his draft is the 2023 NFL Draft's defining characteristic might end up being its unpredictability.
Ooh, classic draft stuff.
Expect the unexpected, guys.
Oh, yeah.
10 days out, it's coming.
Expect the unexpected. All right, guys, at pick 31, MMS has the Chiefs selecting edge rusher from Georgia Tech, Keon White.
I told you, he's not a player that doesn't interest me at all, but you are taking a huge risk. He is an athletic freak, but also it's not like he was productive, right? Wasn't he like a tight end at like a junior college?
Yeah, so he was a two-star out of high school, went to play tight end at Old Dominion.
Old Dominion again, another Old Dominion tie?
So there he switched to edge rusher, transferred to Georgia Tech, and started having production this past year. But, I mean, physically, very, very impressive. 6'5", 285, super explosive, high-end speed. Like, I think I clocked him at 21 miles an hour.
Yeah.
For
He's a
285, you're not
freakish
supposed to be
athlete.
able to move like that. But, yeah, it's raw athletic prospect.
What one AFC executive said of his skill set, this comes from Lance Zierlein, but an executive telling him, quote, "You have to see him in person to get a feel for how he moves around or for how big he is. Really athletic, high floor. He'll be a riser."
Oh, but could he rise to 31?
That's the question.
He did get an invite.
I'd like him to rise only to like 63. Then they can get him in the second round.
We need to
Tyler
start
Passanio.
We need to start having these conversations. He did get a draft invite.
One of only 17, right?
So what does that mean?
It means the draft advisory board feels like he's a first rounder.
And how do you get on the draft advisory board?
Is that your next thing?
Honestly,
is that the next thing?
I mean, if they called
Nick,
me
you
today
can-
and said, we need you there, I'm gone.
Look, Nick,
Leaving this
No
show?
2-week notice. If I can be on the draft advisory
but you can't have
board,
both. You have to decide. You want the Heisman vote or the draft advisory board?
don't make me choose. It's like picking a favorite kid.
Draft advisory board. I'm
don't know. I
guessing
didn't
it's
get
just, hopefully it's not just full of Bill Polians.
What do you have against Bill Polian?
Maybe I could replace. Maybe I could
replace
be.
Bill
But that's the problem is they're going to say, hey, Nick, we're looking for some fresh blood. We just axed Bill Polian. Do you want his spot?
Perfect. And you're in.
I'll say this.
You got to fight with Big Phil.
The only time
gonna win.
the only time the NFL surprises you is when it's just like, this guy had no pressure, but also, so we don't care. They could be like, he had 7.5 sacks one time, and we're like,
Well-
but runs super fast and jumps really
To be
high,
fair, that's
so
exactly
our guy.
that's exactly how DK Metcalf went into the NFL draft. I don't think he ever had more than like 600 yards receiving in a
And
season.
he's a freak.
And
Yeah, but sometimes like Tano
out okay.
Passanio got drafted in the second round higher than people thought because it's like he was to be this athletic, and it turned out, like it doesn't always work out.
He's still in the
yeah,
league,
they're the
but
riskier
yeah.
players.
but
but
Tano Passanio went to what, Villanova?
yeah.
I mean, like this guy at least went to the ACC, produced in the ACC, had his best game against the best team they played, Drake May, North Carolina. Like,
And he
you're
had
talking-
switched positions, halfway through college?
Yeah, so there's a reason why Keon White's not being mocked in the top 15, but again, these are the sort of dilemmas that you are faced with at pick 31 is, do we want the guy with the production but maybe not as high of the upside, or do we want the project that we can sort of mold over the next couple being a stud?
All right, that's another mock draft as we're 10 days away from the NFL draft as I'm looking at the television, and it is a absolute downpour at the Boston Marathon. It just looks miserable. There's just like a huge crowd of people, obviously, running and pouring down rain.
How close have you gotten? How close have you gotten to running a full marathon?
Never even
like 2 miles.
Never even crossed my mind.
Did you ever get like how many miles into that?
I don't even know, man. Props to anybody that
Cross
obviously
country and
I did a 5K.
finishes a marathon. I mean, it's incredibly impressive. They already have the winner, though. I was joking with Cody. I'm like, the winner's already determined. But no,
everyone should just get off the course.
It's obviously being able to say you finished the Boston Marathon and got in the Boston Marathon is pretty damn cool. Quite the accomplishment. All right, coming up next, we'll get to what's trending in that Jalen Hurts contract and what it means for Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the AFC.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30. Official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
One of my favorite times of the year is here, the NBA playoffs. You can turn those crossovers into cold, hard cash with FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/CDOT right now and place a $5 bet, and you'll instantly get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel has great promotions, great boosts. Save the app, super easy to use. You get paid quickly. That's what you're looking for if you're looking to place a little action on the NBA playoffs. There's no better place to do that than America's #1 sportsbook. All you need to do is go to FanDuel.com/CDOT. Sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet. FanDuel, official sport betting partner of the NBA, and also 610 Sports Radio. 21 and present in Kansas. Bonus issued with non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Nothing was more fun than playing outside, climbing trees, and getting dirty. Hi, this is Larry Ryan with Ryan Lawn and Tree. Well, we grew up, but now we love working outside. Beautiful lawns, caring for trees and shrubs, fixing irrigation systems, and providing our customers with in-depth pest services. Our Ryan pros are passionate about creating space friends and even pets can enjoy. Our Ryan pros in those clean red trucks are highly trained, full-time owners, and as an owner, they're personally committed to providing you with unmatched results and award-winning 5-star customer service. And we're local, so no 1-800 number here. Visit RyanLawn.com today for a free estimate. Hey, and if you want an outdoor career with us as an employee owner, visit RyanLawn.com. I personally guarantee you'll be glad you did.
Welcome to Kansas City. While you're here for the NFL Draft, you must try Kansas City barbecue. And the very best is Gates Barbecue. Gates Barbecue has been a Kansas City staple since 1946 and has served its award-winning barbecue, signature sauces, and seasonings to millions of people. Stop by any of the locations to hear the famous greeting and dig into the best sandwich, awesome fries, and slab of ribs you have ever had. Go to GatesBarbecue.com for more information. Gates Barbecue, a Kansas City tradition.
Chiefs Kingdom. The NFL Draft is in our city, and to celebrate, Bud Light is throwing epic watch parties around Kansas City for the first round. On Thursday, April 27th, head to County Road Ice House or Streetcar Grill and Tavern, both in downtown KC-Mo, to enjoy ice-cold Bud Light drink specials. And we welcome the newest players to our Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, presenting sponsor of the NFL Draft and the official beer of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Try new Syntec high-mileage full synthetic motor oil to help high-mileage engines run better for longer. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-50 63 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
Try new Syntec high-mileage full synthetic motor oil to help high-mileage engines run better for longer. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health, slows down sugar absorption, blood.
Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB, 800-391-5063 for your free consultation and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included, plus acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hurry and shop the final days of Springfest at Lowe's and get the best values of the season before they're gone. Save big across the store for projects inside and out. Get started on your spring garden with 1-pint annuals, 4 for $5. Save on indoor updates, too, with up to 40% off select bathroom faucets and vanities. Shop Lowe's today, because Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/19. Annuals offer available in-store only. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Subscribe and download to the all-new Character Concerns podcast with new episodes every Tuesday up to the NFL Draft in KC. Find it on the Odyssey app, 610sports.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
Number one on What's Trending, a huge payday for Jalen Hurts, who reportedly has agreed to a 5-year extension with the Philadelphia Eagles. $255 million. Comes out to $51 million a year, making him the highest paid player in NFL history. $179 million guaranteed. There's also a no-trade clause on the deal. We'll talk more about where this puts the other quarterbacks now, and also it's great news if you're someone like Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, who there were already reports before this deal that thought they could get $55 to $60 million on average per year. No reason to think that that's not achievable. What does it mean for Lamar Jackson? What does it mean for Patrick Mahomes? That's coming up right after What's Trending.
I mean, it certainly means something for those other guys. That's a big number for Jalen Hurts. Not surprising, but Mahomes keeps getting pressed further and further down that list. Like you said, Andy got asked about it today. Not going to say I'm surprised that he's got that now, but at some point,
they kept it.
It's a matter of how long can you hold that number down.
They kept it quiet, too. You know, a lot of times stuff leaks. No, I mean, this was, people thought maybe there's a chance they could work on an extension, but I guess I give credit to the Eagles and to Jalen Hurts and his team, his agent. Like, there was no leaks. I mean, this was a very smooth, all business type of negotiation.
By the way, Jalen Hurts' story is incredible.
Yeah, Nicole.
She just sent him a DM after he left college and said, "Still looking for representation." Yeah. They eventually agreed to work together. Now she's made him the richest quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So on an average annual basis, which is obviously a pretty cool story when you think about it. It's not like she didn't do her job well. Next up on What's Trending, the Minnesota Twins and right-hander Pablo Lopez are finalizing a 4-year, $73.5 million contract extension that, according to multiple reports, you might remember they traded for Pablo Lopez this offseason when they sent their good young player, Luis Arias, to the Miami Marlins. Arias has had a really good start for them. Lopez has also had a great start for the Twins, who buy out the final year of their arbitration. People always do like to make these things about the Royals, which is fair. the Twins have been far more successful. They are shockingly similar market sizes, shockingly similar total revenue they bring in every year.
Is it really shocking?
No, but it's just like they're very similar across the board. But one team has had more general success on an everyday basis. But guess what the Twins don't have? It's always the same thing. Twins don't have a World Series. So it's a lot of this on an everyday basis. I'd much like being the Twins way more. It'd be way more fun, right? But the World Series is just so hard to trumpet.
This is where I've always conversations, because that's the thing. It's like I still will take that 2014, 2015 run. I still would, as much as
I know.
It doesn't
it's
mean,
like, can it be both? Can you be wildly competitive in any given year and then also get into a World Series and win one occasionally, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the way the sport has continued to trend, it's even less likely today than it was in 2014 and 15 that a small market team can do what the Royals did, and that's what sucks. But yes, it doesn't mean you can't be competitive. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be fed up and frustrated with what this weekend looks like. It shows you, to say the least, between the Royals and a team like the Atlanta Braves, who might go and win another world championship. I mean, the
Twins have only made the playoffs 3 times in the last 10 years. I'm not saying that they're not the Rays.
No, we can talk more Royals baseball later if you want. Like, this weekend just flat out sucked. It was embarrassing at times. In particular, when what should be a routine defensive play for a major leaguer can't be made and cost you a game. That's how it played out yesterday with Edward Olivares. All right, next up on What's Trending, NBA playoffs underway. A couple series over the weekend to get things going. Let's just start with what it sets up for tonight in particular, which is the Sacramento Kings leading the Warriors early on in that series. 1 game tonight. Obviously, the Kings had that long playoff drought. I think their last playoff win was when they were the Kansas City. If we want to go way back in the franchise
City Kings
history, the Kansas City.
That's the last time they got a playoff win?
No, that can't be right. I'm
Omaha?
sorry. No. I'm completely off base here. The page just way off.
I was like, well, come on. After all the time this show, Nick, has spent about talking about Mike Bibby.
Yeah.
Clearly, they had a playoff win in there.
It's one of
it had been a while, though.
Yeah, that's completely inaccurate, what I said.
Nick's eating, so he can't list off the entire Sacramento Kings.
No. Bibby,
lineup for that year,
Stojakovic, Vlade Divac, all that. Yeah.
Chris Webber, Hito Turkoglu, Bobby Jackson, Scott Pollard.
I don't know why you. At this point, we've talked about that team so much.
Either way,
have them borderline memorized.
Doug Christie.
Either way, there's 2 games tonight. Warriors, Kings. The Kings do lead the series. Do you root for the Kings?
Sure.
Because what
do I care? I don't have an NBA team.
I'm wondering because of the KC connection, or does that mean
I'm waiting for KC to get a team, and they'll be.
And then the Sixers earlier in the evening. Philly has a 6:30 tip-off tonight, and the 76ers significant favorites in the series, and I think they're going to end up sweeping the Brooklyn Nets.
Lastly, on What's Trending, Nick Caserio had his press conference today, similar like Andy Reid, right, for the off-season stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He says he is not leaving. He says he's embarrassed that he has to say it, but he has no plans to leave right now. There were rumors about a week and a half ago that Nick Caserio was going to get through this draft and then head off to New England. There's also rumors that Houston doesn't really want him around much anymore. His job is on thin ice kind of either way. But to me, it's like, why? But also let them make the 2nd overall selection in the NFL draft. That feels bad. That just doesn't feel like a good decision. I'd want somebody else making my quarterback decisions, hypothetically, if that's the decision you're coming to.
We lied. That's not the last thing on What's Trending, because did you guys see a very important story out of Denver today?
No.
Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson. Nick, I don't know if you've ever done this on the golf course. He flipped his golf cart. He's unhurt.
He flipped his golf cart?
He was involved. Let me just read you the story. Russell Wilson was involved in a scary situation over the weekend while playing golf in the Denver area. Nick, you're familiar with Denver. Maybe you've golfed here. He was playing, and this is great, at Arrowhead Golf Course.
I've played there. I have played there.
What are the chances the starting quarterback, the one time he flips his golf cart, he's playing at Arrowhead Golf Course?
Went there on a bachelor party break. Golf course.
Littleton, Colorado. His golf cart appeared to flip over near a bunker. This is according to 104.3 The Fan in Denver. It's unclear exactly what happened. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. That's why we can laugh about it here. The Broncos quarterback has not commented on the
I have
injury.
flipped a golf cart.
Okay.
Really? Was it when you killed that goose?
No, I didn't flip it. I was the passenger side, and somebody was trying to go around a turn way too quickly.
Okay.
And if you try and pole a Yui too fast, the whole thing will tip over because they're bottom heavy. And the other thing about Arrowhead Golf Course, it's not a course that you can overpower. Like, it is a finesse course. You have to kind of pick your spots and plot around the course. If you just pull driver out on every single tee, you're going to get yourself into trouble because you've got to be accurate if you want to score well there.
I just can't.
Like, if you want to see the photo, Cody just quote tweeted it because I imagine. Yeah, you found the tweet, and Cody just tweeted out Arrowhead Golf Course.
It's so good. Yeah. It's just the irony is very thick.
Yeah, so I had to throw that one in.
Wait, flip it into the bunker?
For what's trending. Someone says, "What's the big surprise?" Russell Wilson's drives have resulted in turnover quite a bit. Lots of his drives.
And the reason they call it Arrowhead is because it's right up next to these like sheer rock faces that are like they look like arrowheads just sticking out of the ground. But they're like 700 feet tall. They're massive. It's beautiful.
I thought it was because the Chiefs just have owned them, and they've been required to adopt Chiefs-related things in Colorado these days.
Russell Wilson, coming to the division, really has been the gift.
Russell Wilson
is really the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Oh,
the guy shows up and just keeps doing comedy stuff.
I mean, yes, it's the story is pretty incredible. The fact that if he just flipped his golf cart, whatever. The fact it was at Arrowhead Golf Course,
that makes it.
It's pretty fantastic. How fast do the golf carts go?
Well, it depends on the cart.
Like, what are we talking?
I don't know.
15?
I don't think they're that fast. 8, 10?
10 miles an hour? Nick's shaking his head because he
depends if their gas carts are electric.
Don't talk. There's way too much food in your mouth. Way too much food in your mouth for that one.
Sorry, for those of you watching on the stream, my apologies.
You can hear
on
that.
Nick's behalf.
I'm off camera.
Do you ever have your camera on?
Not when I'm eating.
Okay, that's a good decision.
That's probably wise.
Someone says, Russell Wilson says, let's ride every time he gets in the golf cart. Oh, could you imagine?
He probably does.
Probably.
Like, you joke about it, but he's one of the corniest human beings that's ever walked the earth.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, let's get back into the top thing on what's trending, of course, which was the new deal
for Russell Wilson.
With Jalen Hurts. Yeah, to keep talking about Russell Wilson. Jalen Hurts, 5-year, $255 million extension, highest paid player in NFL history, $179 million guarantee. There's also the no trade clause that's included in there. And look, the way the NFL continues to progress with increased revenues, most important position, you're going to continue to see these quarterback dollar amounts go up. I don't think anybody should be surprised that the dollar amounts are where they are at now, because Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are going to get new deals this offseason as well, and it's going to be for more than $51 million. But what does it mean for Patrick Mahomes? I think you look ahead, and while Andy was asked about it as well, Andy Reid, in last hour, that they made the contract the way it is. Of course, we've talked about this over and over, flexibility, 10-year deal to help the Chiefs build a winner. But I still think at some point, if I'm sitting there and I'm his agent, and all of a sudden I'm the 8th or 9th highest paid guy on
let's get back to the table.
So right now, Jalen Hurts will be the highest, $51 million. Aaron Rodgers, $49 million. Kyler Murray, $46.1. This is on average per year. Then Mahomes right now is 5th. That's before Burrow and Herbert, who are going to leapfrog him on an annual basis. So he's going to fall back to 8th. And by the way, Josh Allen's at 43, and then you got Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott all tied for 7th. So Mahomes is going to be 6th. He's going to be 8th, and there'll be a bunch of guys tied 9th on average annual. You can still structure the new deal in a team-friendly way, but I feel like we're very close at some point to where they're going to need to rework it a little bit.
The crazy thing is, like, how much higher would he want to go than the next closest? You remember we talked about, like, the Aaron Donald deal as it relates to Chris Jones? Mahomes could, if he chose, blow this damn thing out of the water. Because that's really what we're talking about here. Let's say Burrow gets, let's just say that of all these guys, Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, his offer last year was very similar in an average annual, but had more guarantees and more total guarantees, according to Adam Schefter. Now, Lamar's denied that was the contract offered, but that number was out there at least at some point. Let's say Burrow gets to 60. That doesn't seem crazy to you, right? Jalen Hurts had one good year. Let's say Burrow gets to $60 million a year. Mahomes could argue for 70, couldn't he? He could argue for a number that buries the rest of these guys, and nobody in their right mind would ever tell him no. The good news is for the Chiefs, he's already shown a flexibility. I don't feel like that's in the cards or something he's going to demand. It's just, how long can you hold this off? The longer you can hold it off, the better. Not saying you don't pay him gold, but it's just how long can you delay eventually changing his number? And the answer is probably this season, and that's it. Because once you're 8th, you're the 8th highest paid quarterback behind, I mean, and I get it. Some of them are like Herbert and Burrow and people who might think are the second or third best, or Josh Allen, second or third best quarterbacks in the NFL at some point.
By the way, if you're
that number's going way up.
If you're a Chiefs fan right now, this is still all great news with these other quarterbacks getting paid. In overall, you might be sitting there like, why do I care that his contract isn't up to par? Yeah, look, you shouldn't. It's just I would be expecting at some point they're going to want to rework, or his team is going to want to rework that deal. But right now, yeah, having Burrow and Allen and Herbert and these guys all having to have their franchises dealing with massive cap hits the same way the Chiefs now have had to maneuver it around, and they have less flexibility in their deals, yeah, that's a good thing. Jalen Hurts might play in the NFC, so it's not as impactful, but it's still another contender in the NFL that now doesn't have a quarterback on a rookie deal. That's important.
And we're close to that anyway because they're all getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence will be the last guy that we think maybe is heading in the right direction that doesn't have does have a rookie deal.
Yeah, which makes them at least if you're going to make a long shot Super Bowl bet, the way the NFL's going right now, in a year or so, he's going to be the only guy in the rookie deal not being paid. We've talked about this. All the talents in the AFC, which means if they all get paid, Gold, fantastic news. They all get paid. Everyone's equal or equal enough, right? $5, $6, $7 million. We're not going to make a big deal about that if Mahomes is paid $5 million more a year than the next closest guy. So what? He's the best quarterback. If you all are being paid somewhere at that level, that just drives the price tag up for everyone. It makes it harder for teams like Cincinnati, who've been coasting on this rookie deal quarterback thing, to pay guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and try to refix their offense and pay defensive players. And they paid Joe Mixon once. No. It's not going to go down like that once Joe Burrow starts making real money over the few years. And so the Jalen Hurts thing is it's delaying the inevitable. We know at some point they're going to have to do it. My hope is, I wonder if, the only upside to this is, would he do it again? Would he, when they restructure, no, but when they restructure his deal, will they extend this out a couple more years and give him all the flexibility again? Because Patrick Mahomes, in the ideal situation, is never playing anywhere.
I would think the answer is yes. Why would
if he's willing
change?
to do it once, why? Yeah, what?
I'm not worried about it extending till he's 38 years old. Are you at this point? I'm not worried about that. I'm good with that. You don't worry about that with him.
Well, yeah. And the other part is he is the only guy in the entire NFL right now that can say, I'll chase legacy right now. It's a bunch of guys who have no Super Bowl rings, and Aaron Rodgers, who's 39, and he lives in his own separate, different world that we can have a different conversation about.
He is still a Green Bay Packer a month after saying he intends to play for the Jets. I know it's out of his hands at this point, but still, the fact that this thing is dragging on still is remarkable.
So to me, at this stage, then the only conversation we're really having is he can always make the argument, I want to be one of the historically great quarterbacks. By the way, if you win one more, you are in incredibly exclusive company. You win two more and you're one of three. You're all by yourself. It's just you and Montana and Tom Brady. You're going to be in this own little special club. But if you win one more, you're one of, 7 quarterbacks ever to have 3 or more Super Bowl titles? You are in the same category as literally any great quarterback of all time. And so it just keeps cycling back through this, what happens next with the Mahomes contract. But the Hurts thing always makes it interesting. I think maybe if you're in a different city, it makes it the most interesting probably for the Lamar deal. Because, Gold, what do you do about what's Lamar worth if Jalen Hurts gets that? And I would say this, Lamar started this conversation 2 years ago, and quarterback contracts have just gone up. So it doesn't feel like he's lost himself if he can ever get a long-term deal.
I think Lamar's playing in Baltimore this year, and if he actually goes out, and not to be an MVP, but if Lamar Jackson can play in 15-plus games this season and look like a top 10 quarterback, I do think there would be more suitors for Lamar Jackson next year than there are right now. But that otherwise we're having the same conversation. If Lamar Jackson plays good for 7 or 8 weeks and misses a month of the season, then it's the same deal and he's not going to get what he wants. But I think he's going to play under the tag this year out in Baltimore, and he's got an opportunity, and that's why he wanted Odell Beckham Jr. to go out and actually get the kind of money he's hoping to get. But I'm not surprised he hasn't been able to get it right now. But it's still, Jalen Hurts getting that deal still is overall good news for Lamar Jackson, for Joe Burrow, and for Justin Herbert.
Hey, all 3 of us use Max, right?
Yeah, I was checking that because that's what.
Is everybody using their charger?
Yeah, we got an email from someone else in the building. It's a boss for another station
on this side of the building. Let's make it very clear, on this side of the building.
Well, here's what happened. That's why I asked Nick. I'll just read the email. Whoever borrowed the Mac charger from my desk, please return it. Thanks. And then 30 seconds later, I saw Nick walk by and head towards the office. So I go, Nick, was that? And I go, Nick, did you borrow? And Nick said, no, but it was in here. Is what he said.
Huh.
So he said it wasn't him. I believe him.
Interesting, Nick.
I believe it.
It just happened to be in here, you were
I
saying.
saw it this morning, and I thought, that's never here. B-Dub doesn't have him.
Somebody over the weekend? Somebody over the weekend?
I'm telling you right now, I want to say first and foremost, I respect all of our part-timers that work here at the station.
Where's the butt?
But every time there's something broken, something missing, something stinky or dirty, always happens.
Stinky?
Yeah, dude.
What's
okay,
stinky?
let's just air it all out there.
Yeah, please do.
We're open, but
2 weeks ago,
yeah,
walked in, B-Dub had the door propped open.
Yeah,
it was hot?
There's
That
probably
never happened.
no AC.
There's either one or two. That's usually the reason. The air circulation, it's either too hot, too cold. I said, what's going on? He was steaming mad because somebody had got Steak and Shake.
Oh, those fries are pretty good.
And just thrown the to-go bag in the trash can here on presumably like a Saturday night,
so
Sunday
it's all
morning.
weekend.
And then all weekend it sits there, and then B-Dub comes in, and it just stinks like old fast food. There was a computer charger in the studio this morning, and I'm thinking, well, that's weird, because B-Dub, I've never seen him bring a computer charger in like that. I never see him. I don't even know if he has a Mac. That's kind of weird. Whatever. And then all of a sudden, a few hours later, email, immediately I was like, that's it. So that means somebody went into the other boss's office and took his computer charger.
When do a boss's office?
By
the way, he's never, I just want to make it very clear, he definitely thinks you stole it.
No, he doesn't.
Absolutely would.
Dude,
I would, wouldn't you?
Dude, I would never buy the story that it was just here.
That's not what it.
So
that's not what
weird.
it went like.
I don't know.
He comes. I saw it. I was like, I bet you that's his. So I walk by and I hold it in the air. I go, is this yours? And he goes, oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, I was just sitting in the studio. He goes, yeah, somebody must have borrowed it. Thanks. That was it.
He thinks it was you.
Want to bet?
He thinks.
Go get him. Go get him right
was
now.
you.
No, walk out.
He
Cody,
thinks
go
it
get
was
him.
you.
Go get him. I'll bet you $1 million he doesn't.
$1 million? What do you think? He just innocently thinks this person who randomly shut up my charger second after sending this email?
He knows who I am. He knows I'm not random person.
You mean he's not?
I'll go get him. We'll find out.
Go get him. Go get him.
Go. Cody's going to go get him.
Go.
You think that he's not skeptical of the guy that's on the Character Concerns podcast?
No, I bet you $100 he does not think it's me. He would have said it. He was
Character Concerns.
He immediately goes, "Oh, somebody must have borrowed it."
So who do you think it was?
A weekender. I don't know who's here on the weekends.
Someone that has a MacBook.
Yes, but doesn't narrow it down. A lot of guys have MacBooks.
We don't exactly have 10.
Wow. Cody, quick.
I can't believe that you went straight over to the man in charge, the head honcho of KMBZ, to bother him for this scenario. We saw the email, Alan. We saw the email, and I saw Nick within 30 seconds dart towards your office, and I asked him point blank, did you steal the MacBook charger?
So which one of you are the criminals?
See, that's it. I said you think it was him.
Nick.
I said you would never believe that he just innocently returned a charger within seconds of having it missing. And that you assumed it was him who borrowed it.
Because he knew that I had the police on his tail.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, of course.
No. Do you think when he came around, did you be honest, do you think he did it?
I don't know.
He doesn't care.
Who's holding a bag of money? They asked the bank robber, right?
Yeah. He doesn't. You were in possession of the stolen good.
That's right.
So he's busted on pushing charge.
I should get a reward.
He wants a reward, he says.
Oh, wow.
They're pretty clever. Let me steal it.
All right, we're just
We're just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Thank you, Alan.
All right.
We appreciate it.
So he doesn't think he doesn't think it was Nick.
Well, I mean, it was somebody. Look,
someone on the text line says Nick just needs an alter ego now to blame this kind of stuff.
I have my own charger. I don't need someone else's.
Can you produce said charger?
You want me to get it out of my book bag?
I can't. Well, I mean, I need to see that you have another one. Because if you didn't bring your charger today, this is going to see if he does seem to have one.
Nick normally doesn't steal one. He asks to borrow mine occasionally. He doesn't steal it. He asks to borrow.
Probably
it.
happened 2 or 3 times, or I forgot mine at home and I'll ask to borrow it. But I always bring my computer charged. 95% of the time.
It is very bold to walk into a closed office of someone you know is in charge and lift their charger. Now, look, maybe you were thinking you were going to return it the whole time they'd never notice. But you didn't. And that's really the problem here.
You know, that's the weird part is I think there are part-timers who are breaking stuff on purpose because they know they can't get caught or stealing stuff.
They're breaking?
Dude, I walked in.
You think they're breaking stuff on purpose?
Yes, the headphone jack in here. I think people have broken it on purpose.
Breaking on purpose.
I think people. I walked in here 2 weeks ago, and the bottom of this computer mouse just had fuzz on it. I don't know where this fuzz could have came from. I don't know what would have produced this fuzz. It was gunk. It was gunk that had formed this adhesive that had caused the fur or the fuzz to stick to the bottom. It was disgusting, and they're just big gunk and nasty stuff just all over this.
Cody, don't you think it's weird that the person that we know on a regular basis, 100% without question, eats in around the board, and you're complaining that there's food particles and gunk around the board?
Because I clean up after myself like an adult. When there are dishes in the sink, you know what I do? I wash them, and I put them in the dishwasher. And then when the dishwasher's done, I take the dishes out, and I dry them, and I put them away like a normal human. I'm not, for example, just hypothetically speaking, someone who would have a beer segment and then leave half-drinking beers all over the studio with like beer splatter and like gunk and dried residue on the table. Not naming any names, I wouldn't do that.
We've learned about ourselves here today.
All right. Coming up next, though, what the Royals made a big mistake on over the weekend, at least according to Cody, and we'll also get to the random question today.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Turn a loss into a win with BetMGM, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Place a one-game parlay wager with at least 4 legs on any MLB game, and if all the legs of the parlay hit but one, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to $25. Just log into your account or download the app and sign up with BetMGM to get started. Then just opt in to the one-game parlay insurance promotion to receive up to $25 back in bonus bets if your parlay with 4 legs or more loses by just 1 leg. Only at BetMGM, the place to bet on baseball. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager, Kansas only. New and existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
At Old Johnny Pizza. When we score 5 or more runs, get a small one-topping pizza. Only $5. Good end of game through close of the following day. Only at Old Johnny Pizza. JohnnyPizza.com. 2 locations, Johnny and Lenexa.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Do you remember how cold it got this winter? Well, it was a chilly one. And if you notice the cold air pouring through those old leaky windows, well, guess what? When it gets hot this summer, the exact opposite is going to happen. All of that cool air is going to escape through those leaky windows, and that hot air is going to come in. So I'm telling you right now to replace those old windows and keep your house cool this summer with the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs over at Window World. Their windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, Window World is offering 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. So pick up the phone right now and call this number for a free home estimate. 816-799-0820. And they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Remember this phone number, 816-799-0820. Or check out the website, windowworld.com.
Grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today with your choice of JBC, double stack, or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. Biggie hits every time. U.S. price and participation may vary.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. so you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Milagro Tequila and Jackson County Tow present Kansas City's premier MMA event, FAC 19. The action is streamed live worldwide, but you can see it live in person Friday, May 5th at Cable Tower Arena. The 14 MMA bouts include Alan Olivas fighting for the bantamweight title. See local favorite Mikey England take on Victor Moreno. FAC 19 tickets are on sale through Ticketmaster and the Cable Tower Arena box office. Sponsored by Dream Machine Motorsports, Hoya Excavating, Herzog, and Tintmaster.
Parents, are you tired of helping put you're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping? Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Footwear you can just get your kids to step into and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces, and most are machine washable. Find Skechers slip-ins for kids or mom and dad at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the Bag Boys.
What?
Bag Boys, Bag Boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag Boys, Bag Boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of double-stacked JBC or crispy and sandwich, 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Natalia, solid dismount, but that little pause is a deduction.
Top tumblers hope to stick the landing with Coach Jasmine.
That aerial sequence still needs work.
She needs more certified athletic training to find her balance.
Folks, I'm going to need you for the all-around. Wait, who's spotting the vault?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Guys, fellas, men, do you want a better sex life? Roman has genuine medication that helps you achieve and maintain a strong erection. Roman has discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. Roman has testosterone to revive your sex life. So men, what are you waiting for? For better sex life, go to ro.co/bettersex. Do it today and get 20% off. That's ro.co/bettersex.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com.
Max Motors got me financed when the others couldn't. And they got me a great car at an affordable payment. Plus, there were so many options to choose from. It's worth the drive from anywhere.
Make it a smart buy and save thousands. MaxMotors.com.
All of KC gearing up for the NFL draft. That's next week. We're just 10 days away. And a week from Thursday, opening round of the draft, we're going to have full team coverage for that entire night. Nick, Bink, and Chris, the Character Concerns crew, anchoring our coverage right here in studio. You and I are going to be out at Boulevard, the rec deck. Going to be a ton of fun up there. We'll be registering people to win tickets for a future Chiefs game. We'll be doing whip-around coverage across the city. Bob and Josh are going to be at Messenger Coffee on 18th and Grand up on the rooftop there. We'll have some tickets to give away for that event as well. C-Dot and Rob will be handling all our social media streams, and Dusty's going to be down on the red carpet. Pete and Nate are going to be at Arrowhead. That is all part of our Thursday night draft coverage 1 week from this Thursday. It's kind of crazy. It's already on. I mean, this has been talked about for years that the draft was coming to KC, and it is almost here. And we're keeping an eye on the weather forecast. I was like, oh, let's have some nice weather for people that are coming in and out of
Be
town.
nice. I did check the weather.
Your whole feel of the city if you're coming to town and it's crappy weather.
Yeah, it does.
Nothing you can do about it. But
yeah, it happened in Nashville, and certainly they found or wait, was it not
Cleveland? Cleveland was the one where it was
like,
rainy.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
It takes some of the fun out of it. But
has
obviously
Cleveland ever had a day of good weather?
I'm sure they have.
Are you sure? You are sure?
I'm sure that at some point in the last year they've had 75 degrees and sunny.
I would think so.
I feel confident.
I wouldn't be too sure.
As
I
someone
bet
who
you it was a
almost-
little overcast, maybe windy.
I mean, maybe in Seattle. Seattle, it might be
a little
cloudy
too
every day.
gusty.
Seattle might be rainy.
I don't know.
cloudy.
I just like I've driven through
Cleveland?
Gary, Indiana one time. Like I don't think the sun's ever shined in that city. It's just overcast, just cloud perpetually hanging over
When
that
were you
town.
in Gary, Indiana?
I don't think I've
I
ever
was
been in Ohio. at all.
driving from Chicago to South Bend for a football game. You drive right past Gary, Indiana, big industrial plant right off the highway there, and just one big gray cloud. One dark cloud that
sitting
just
over
never
top of
moves. And I kind of feel like the same thing for Cleveland.
Okay.
I like that you're already. We talked about how often we check the weather, and you're already checking the weather.
Well, for a big event like this.
for 10 days from now. I checked the weather for the zoo field trip tomorrow. That's the best I can do.
That's
for
right.
you.
You're gone tomorrow.
I
You're
have
going to the
also-
zoo to see the penguins.
No big deal. I've received additional responsibilities for the zoo field trip tomorrow. I have been asked to not only do that. I've been asked.
Do you hear that?
Yes, of course I did.
What is that? Oh my goodness.
Was that something you did, Nick?
Was that over the air? That was terrible.
That was definitely over the air.
Or was that just through our headset?
But that was the line.
I was like, what the hell is that?
That was the phone line.
Okay. Yeah, that was.
Were aliens trying to contact us? Stop!
Don't do it
I
again.
was I can't
don't
hear
do
it
again,
during.
man.
I can't hear it on my end. So I was. Is it just
I
going?
don't know. That was annoying. That was getting worse too as it went.
No, I was trying to ignore it.
That would have. Yeah, I know you were. Nick and I both looked at each other right away, and I'm like, "Can Cody hear this?" And
Oh, I can hear it.
it got louder and louder. Anyway,
I was just saying I
yeah.
received additional
You're just like, well,
responsibilities.
Cody refused to acknowledge it.
I was trying to not.
Typically, you're supposed to not acknowledge it, but on this show, we acknowledge everything that happens. We know this.
I was trying
We
to.
acknowledge
You want to talk
everything.
about what happened earlier
We'll
in
get
the
to
11
that.
o'clock
Let's do
hour?
that in a little bit later. Let's not. But yeah, we do need to address something else in a little bit. What were you saying?
I was just saying I've been asked to hold the sign, letting everyone know and where to meet as the class. I've been told the sign will be sent home with my daughter tonight. I've been asked to get the group together. So
Get the group together.
look, all I'm telling you is I'm moving up
Did
the
you
ladder.
volunteer?
I'm higher than the other parents on this trip. I have been given additional responsibility.
Wow. I hope somebody's parents listening. You think you're better than them?
I'm just saying I've been given additional responsibility that other parents haven't. That's all.
Okay.
You know?
How do you know they're not? Those other parents aren't being given different responsibilities.
Like what?
Independent of the one. I don't know. Maybe they're in charge of handing out the lunches.
No, it's told the thing specifically
You
said
checked on that, huh?
Then the small groups that you be there to carry a bag big enough that if you needed to carry the other kids' lunches.
Okay.
So I feel like that's a small group.
Are you actually
Responsibility.
searching for more responsibility to the point where you want to be?
I want to decide the route.
Cody's gonna be driving the school bus.
Yeah, and
before
he
this
doesn't.
thing is over.
Right, and it's not because he actually wants to, make sure the kids get there safely. It's just so he can lord over the other parents to say, "Look at everything I'm doing."
I mean, you're
Interesting,
You're gone tomorrow. When you come back Wednesday, I can't wait to hear how this thing goes because I
Field
know
trip win?
something you are going to do that's going to cause problems.
Something
or,
happens on my watch,
or,
it's a problem.
Or some other parent's going to do something that's going to prompt you to bring it to the air on Wednesday. Do you promise, even though you told me the other day that you think there's some parents that do listen to the show, you got to be careful. Don't be careful on Wednesday, please. Share.
I'll live my normal life.
Share.
I recently found out that one of the kids in my daughter's class listens to me. So, gotta be.
Yeah, we'll make sure we cut that. The text line's better than them. You said you're higher than all the other parents on the field trip, which is a hell of a line. A hell of a line as a chaperone for what would this be? First graders?
How high do you plan on being at the zoo tomorrow?
All right, stop. Now you're gonna get me in
Well,
trouble.
no, but I do
You
think.
said higher than all the other
well,
ones.
no, but I think
I've been on the pecking order.
Well, specifically, it is fun to get stoned and go to the zoo.
What?
It's
Is
more.
that something you've done?
Have you been high at the zoo before?
No, I think that in theory, though, it sounds fun. And I would, if I'm gonna go to the zoo, I'd like to be at least a little stoned.
Oh, I see.
I'm not gonna get like just otherworldly baked. I'm just like just a little.
We'll get to the random question of the day coming up in 5 or 6 minutes. But I do want to talk a little about the Royals. I mean, there's certainly a lot there.
Really frustrating weekend.
Really frustrating for sure. Vern, I mean, it's not often where Vern goes off the rails about an April game, but last night and yesterday afternoon, I should say, his post-game show, you could tell the frustration from him. because you had a play in particular involving Edward Olivares who
misplayed it so bad.
It wasn't even and for a big leaguer, it's not a difficult play at all.
Wouldn't hit that hard.
Resulted in 2 runs directly and then another indirectly on the very next at bat. Just plain unacceptable. It's happened multiple times. Not that exact play, but
the game where they pitch well enough to win, but of course don't get to win because of a massive lapse. Yes,
and you can't afford those mistakes when you are the Royals, frankly, and certainly when you're facing a team like Atlanta. But what happened on Saturday is a much bigger problem, perhaps, and that's because Kris Bubic had been pitching really well, and you're wondering, okay, maybe they found something here. We were just talking about it on Thursday and Friday. We had JJ on about, man, you know what? You might have a good problem to have when Daniel Lynch comes back because all these guys are pitching well.
Of course, we cursed him.
And baseball happens, injuries happen, things settle themselves out, unfortunately, and now it looks like not only he's on the IL now with a forearm strain, but I think
flexor strain's a scary injury.
Flexor strain. Sorry, yeah, and typically that's not something that's a short-term thing, and you fear the worst, where long absence, year-long type absence as the worst-case scenario that's in play potentially. We don't know that yet, but the Royals manager Matt Quatraro admitted in postgame that they thought maybe the dip in velocity, because it was evident in the first inning, was weather-related. Because remember, the temperature swung. It was cold and nasty. The game was supposed to be a 3 o'clock game. Rain delay didn't start till the evening, and by then it was 40 degrees outside. But he admitted that they should have noticed it sooner and that they should have recognized.
Look, it's not a mistake with intention, if that makes sense. Like the ones where you might be putting someone at risk and you just do it anyway, those happen in this sport, where you're like, I'm going to put him out there because, I know there's an injury risk, but I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to do it. Or you're ignoring some signs. But him saying, we screwed up, means that you can say it. They screwed up. They saw and noticed that something was there. They thought it might be weather-related, and it turns out it wasn't, which meant you missed it. You missed it. And that's the first one probably for this staff. I understand their record would indicate that maybe it's a little bit different than the last couple of, because the record would be like, well, they made a lot of mistakes. No, they're just not playing good baseball right now. They are the worst team at hitting with runners in scoring position in baseball by a mile. I don't think that would be super uncommon for a very young team like this one is, but it's so bad, raising a lot of other offensive problems, and then it's cranking up the stress in those moments, but they messed up. They had a chance to catch an injury sooner, but here's the thing. As much as I want to tell you that they missed it and they should have caught it, but they didn't, I don't know that it was going to solve this problem from occurring. Like I don't that was probably coming anyway, unfortunately, and it stinks that Kris Bubic, in a year where it felt like he could have had a big swing gold, now is going to have to deal with this injury.
Right, the dip in velocity was already happening in the first inning. Unfortunately, last time out, without anybody knowing or whatever.
Could happen in the next start. He could have had a bad velocity, and then it could have still been a strain. Who knows?
But it just sucks because it compounds what has already been frustrating because of the team's overall performance. And on Thursday and Friday, we were talking about, the one thing that had been the bright spot was what they were getting out of the pitching staff. And then it's a weekend in which, against a team that might go and win a championship again, it's coming off a championship, the Braves, you saw the clear gap. We already knew it, but the clear gap from where the Royals are at and where the Atlanta Braves are at. And then you compound it with an injury. You compound it with poor decision-making on an outfielder's part and the hitting issues other than Bobby Witt Jr., really.
And then, like, Barlow, unable to, secure a win at the end, too, It's just like everything compounds at once.
They are back in action tonight to begin a new series against the Rangers, the final couple against them for this homestand. We talked on Friday, what does a 6-game homestand look like? I think I told you, I think you take one from Atlanta and then find a way to win the series against the Rangers. Well, they got swept by Atlanta, and so the same thing applies, though, for the Rangers series. Find a way to you really should have beat them in Texas as far as winning the series. You weren't able to do that. The last time you played them, you scored 10 runs. See what they can do offensively tonight. 6:40 first pitch here on 610 Sports Radio.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Nick. And over in the J South and Tow Service text line, 913-586-7610. Earlier, you'd mentioned that we're heading towards Jefferson's next Wednesday before the draft. Get a chance to watch a Royals Day game with us. We'll be there around first pitch or so at Jefferson's. You mentioned one of the deals they're making is that if you come in wearing your favorite team jersey, they'll offer you a free fried pickle. So my question here is, because you had made the comment, which is common. We're going to be here in Kansas City. Logically, if you're coming to Jefferson's on Wednesday, you're going to be in a Chiefs jersey. But on the off chance you're not, I want to know what your favorite childhood non-Chiefs player was.
In any sport?
NFL?
Football. I want to go NFL
football.
specifically because we're around the draft.
Easy.
Wow, you had your answer quick.
Easy.
Mine
Let me
was-
see.
Go ahead.
Easy.
For NFL.
Interesting.
We can go to other sports if you want. For football,
Interesting. Wait a minute.
easy.
Wait a minute.
You have a guess? Yeah, you can guess.
I'm trying to analyze you.
Okay.
Man,
What could it be?
it's got to be a star. It's got to be like favorite Chiefs player.
No, it's
No,
not
no,
Chiefs.
not Chiefs.
Oh, no,
player,
just a
yeah.
non-Chiefs.
Okay, so you
Is it like Bo
you-
Jackson? Do you think is
late
No, I'm not
90s?
not old enough.
I'm
I never
thinking
got to watch him
late
play football.
90s. I mean, is he a Brett Favre guy? I don't see it. I don't
No,
see.
I don't
I don't
think
see
so
Gold as
either.
being a Brett
No.
Favre guy.
I don't think it's that.
Oh man,
Is it Peyton Manning? Just likes greatness. He's a ring guy.
he's
a ring guy, so it could be Brady. You know, he's a big ring guy.
If it were Manning or Brady, we would have found out about it by now.
That's a good point.
You
I can
know.
tell you it's not them.
Okay. Okay. So we're narrowing
One more
down.
guess. One more guess. One more guess, and then I'm going to give you
Jerry
my answer.
Rice.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Jerry Rice.
Right track, but it's Randy Moss. Randy Moss.
Man, we were close.
Randy Moss. I thought
God,
one of
we
you
were
gonna,
getting there. We
I
just
thought
had
one
to
of you
learn
were
to
gonna
do
say
it.
Randy Moss. It was one of my first football cards I had. And the reason why I haven't, it's an autograph one. It's one my dad gave me when I was very little, and I still have it. I thought I could have sold it and made some money. I'm like, that's one card that I won't flip. Like I'm just gonna. It was one of the first football cards I remember getting, and it was a cool memory or whatever. And Randy Moss also just.
How much is the card
incredible.
worth? You know?
I think I could get a couple $100 for it.
I would
but
say this: Randy Moss is an incredibly strong answer.
It is.
It's gonna be tough to beat because he was so good. You couldn't deny his greatness. Who could ever say like, why would you like him? Because he's the best of our lifetimes. I was a little too young for Jerry Rice.
If we did baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. would be almost everyone's answer.
Yeah.
So what's your football answer?
My
you
answer for
guys?
baseball is Vlad Guerrero. I do have a Vlad Guerrero Expos jersey.
What's your football answer for each one of you, real quick?
Oh man,
Mine's Dan Marino.
Okay.
Loved Dan Marino. Liked watching him play. Watched tons and tons and tons of their football.
Cody, not
growing
a
up.
ring guy, turns out. Not a ring guy.
Just like it was
Quite
Dan
the
Marino.
opposite.
Yeah.
You know, basketball.
Had
I
a
would
jersey.
obviously go with Mike Bibby or Bobby Jackson or
There's no
Chris
Kansas
Webber
City-based NBA
or
team, so that's
Vlade
not-
Divac or
Someone from that
Doug
Kings
Christie,
team.
Peja Stojakovic, Hito Turkoglu, one of those guys.
It was baseball. It was Frank Thomas or Ken Griffey Jr. It was those two that I watched a lot growing up.
Yeah, I don't really have one for football. It was the only sport that I was really passionate towards the local team. Like I was never a huge Royals fan growing up. That's why I liked all sorts of players. For football, I mean, I don't even think I had like football posters hanging on the wall.
Like
It was
people
all
are mentioning
basketball.
like Barry Sanders,
Deion Sanders, too, yeah.
Deion Sanders, Steve McNair. It's like those big flashy players that you're just like they're so
makes
good.
sense. And if you're-
it doesn't make like they're just too good. I can't ignore them.
If you live in Kansas City and we're saying your favorite non-Chiefs player growing up or in general,
I bet Michael Vick for a lot of people who are
makes
your
sense.
age, right? I mean,
I doubt someone.
Yeah, Michael Vick was up there. He would have been up there.
You're gonna pick a flashy player. I mean, if you live in Kansas City, you're not gonna be like, yeah, man, that right tackle for those for those Niners, man. Woo.
It's not going to be the beat 'em up tight end who had 450 yards a game. It's just never going to be that. You weren't like big Donald Driver fans growing up. They got to be stars.
Yeah, I mean, someone said Troy Polamalu. I could see that. I mean, you're talking about a hard-hitting safety Hall of Famer.
I did like Jamal Lewis a lot.
Oh, okay. Ravens running back.
Yeah. I mean, that's about as close as I can get.
Jamal Lewis is
That's it,
you had
Jamal.
all this time to think about it, and you landed on
I'm just like, dude, I'm
Jamal
going through all the
Lewis.
different teams. I'm just like, I didn't care about, because I was a much bigger basketball fan. I was a much bigger NBA fan as a kid than I was NFL.
Who was the biggest non-Jayhawk you liked? in
Tracy
college?
McGrady. Tracy McGrady.
That's
I was
that's
obsessed.
again. That's a Randy Moss like NBA.
I had
answer.
a Tracy
Everyone
McGrady.
loved
I had a Tracy McGrady poster. I had a Tracy McGrady jersey. I had a Tracy McGrady bobblehead. I had the Tracy McGrady shoes. I was obsessed
I
with
could see
T-Mac.
that. I could see that. A couple people now coming in with again LaDainian Tomlinson, obviously in the division.
Good answer.
But,
It's a good answer.
again, we're talking non-Chiefs.
Because it's hard. Like growing up, you were never gonna. Your answer was not gonna be a Raider or a Charger
Hell
or
no.
a Bronco.
Hell no. Now Tomlinson was fun to watch, but yeah, there's no way that was ever going to be.
But you were always just like, get out of here. I don't want you around this division anymore. You're like Antonio Gates, right? It's just like you respected them, but you didn't like them.
Yeah.
You're like you didn't enjoy watching them play. They were playing against this team. You had to go out of conference or out of those. Like Dan Marino never played an important game.
I liked Olin Kreutz, the offensive lineman for the Bears, a lot. Yeah.
Urlacher Urlacher was probably an answer for some people. He was just like a likable player in the NFL there for a long time.
I just
seemed like everybody liked him or Devin Hester.
Yeah, I liked those Ravens. I really liked that Ravens, that Ray Lewis.
Ed Reed.
Chris McAllister, Ed Reed.
Ed Reed is a very likable non-chief, right? Just great all
Trent
the
Dilfer,
time.
yeah.
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
That wasn't anyone's list.
I mean, so Rings.
So you're a big Brad Johnson fan, too.
I'm a big Rings
A lot of
guy.
people mentioning
greatness.
Culpepper, which I guess I'm surprised. There's like 5 or 6 people.
Dante Culpepper was funny.
Yeah.
And if
That's because he was the Randy Moss time, and they're just like high flying and scoring 50 points a game.
And for our generation, people that grew up, playing Madden, right? Dante Culpepper on some of those video games, like him with Randy Moss, that's how you played. The same reason why Michael Vick, the year he was on the cover, right? There were some unstoppable Michael Vick plays that you could do too.
I just remember on Sunday afternoons, I would sit back, I would watch some Olin Kreutz highlights, and then me and my dad would turn on a couple episodes of Gunsmoke, and then
oh no,
don't bring Gunsmoke back into this.
Gunsmoke.
Olin Kreutz. Just like looking up old rosters on teams.
Now, Olin Kreutz was a legend.
Legend?
For the Bears? Yes. Probably a ring of honor.
Of Champ Bailey, some Ronnie Lott, Ty Law, Brian Dawkins. Someone else.
George Blanda.
Yeah. Ray Guy.
I mean, George Blanda was in the NFL starting as quarterback and punter.
Very impressive.
A true dual threat.
Yeah, that was a big one for you?
Yeah.
You just watching the highlights when you were a kid?
Seeing a bunch of the Jerome, I will say Jerome Bettis is actually, like, if you were making a list of Jerome Bettis would definitely be on the list of as a kid.
Mostly because it didn't seem like the kind of player deserved to be in the, you're like, you're not good enough to be in the NFL. And yet here we are. He's a Hall of Famer, obviously.
It was fun. Jerome Bettis was called the bus. Like, he was fun.
Buses are cool.
Is that it?
What?
Buses are cool.
Yeah. Of course.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if people had because like those Falcons runs when they're doing the Dirty Bird and stuff.
Jamal Anderson?
Jamal Anderson, 2,000 yards. You would think that those kind of players stand out when you're rooting on other players. And it was easy in the NFC side.
I noticed nobody's naming John Elway or Broncos players.
No. But actually, there were several people mentioning John Elway as the player that they'd love to hate forever.
Oh.
It just brings them joy to hate them for an eternity.
You know what's weird about that is
Hines Ward is a good
You know
answer.
who always was over John Elway for me? It wasn't a player. It was John Gruden.
Really?
I hated John Gruden.
He's easy to hate.
Well, I mean, that was when the Raiders were
they went
relatively good, and he was sort of the
Super Bowl back in, now not with him as even the Bucks, but still, like when the Raiders Bucks Super Bowl was what, 03?
Yeah, like 2 years. But yeah, 2 years prior. I mean, with Rich Gannon as the quarterback, man, I hated John Gruden's face so much.
Mike Allstott is also just such a strong answer of just random guy to like during the fullback era.
Didn't he come on the drive a couple years ago, and he's kind of going through some things or whatever?
Is he?
Mike Allstott,
What do you mean?
Just
We're talking about
struggling a little bit. I think.
Come on, we're an open book. Financially? He was asking for cash?
I don't think
Just begging for money.
I don't think he was asking.
On the show.
Y'all got any money?
I don't think.
You guys got 5?
I'm gonna do these radio interviews. I'm asked for money in every city I go on. I don't think
it's
that's
smart.
what
It's what we've talked about. Put them on the spot. If you're already on the interview and you're like, "Hey, so I'm gonna need you to Venmo me $5," you'd be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, you answer the question, and then I halfway through, it's like, "Hey, y'all got any money? Y'all got some cash?" I would Venmo Mike Allstott $5 if he came on. I'm not doing it to Ryan Stackpole
or Chris Trapasso. It's not those guys, but
right.
Somebody else. Cordell Stewart, but I didn't feel like that was worth mentioning because I grew up watching Colorado
text
football.
line brought up Cordell.
He's just another one of those. It's just fun players. Doesn't matter.
Well, because he played it, punt returner, quarterback, wide receiver, all of it. There you go. That's the random question of the day. A reminder, Patrick Mahomes coming up at 1:15 today. You'll hear from the Chiefs starting quarterback. And thinking of Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid was asked about the contract for Jalen Hurts and what it could mean for Patrick Mahomes, as well as the player survey that came out a couple months ago. That's next here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
He's so good, and everyone knows it.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
The Landing in Liberty, the largest sports bar north of the river, and the home of over 65 HD TVs with every sports package. Hey, our motto is any game, anytime. 10,000 square feet under one roof to provide adequate social distancing. Our nonstop patio is not covered, but in the winter it's home to the only dine-in heated igloos in the Northland. Each igloo has its own TV and sound system, seats up to 8 people. The Landing has a great menu featuring the best dry rub wings in Kansas City and the home of the Ben Mallard chicken fingers. Most of our menu items, dressing, and wing sauces are house-made. Daily food specials, happy hour every day from 3 till 7 p.m. Live music on our smoking patio Thursday through Sunday nights. Make your next destination the Landing in Liberty. Food, fun, music, and sports. The Landing in Liberty, 1189 West Kansas Street in Liberty. Check us out online at thelandingeateryandpub.com. We'll see you at The Landing.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are open now for the $2,500 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $2,500 toward a new garage door and opener of their choice. You can't win if you don't enter. Deadline to enter is April 30th. Enter at overheaddoorkc.com. That's overheaddoorkc.com. Good luck.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America, N.A.
Are your investments going nowhere? Here's a tip that always pays big dividends. Invest in yourself, your talent, your smarts, your skills. Maybe it's time to make that investment and start a career in IT or upskill to boost your current career. At My Computer Career, you can bank on us. We'll help you get the right skills and the right certifications to start or advance your IT career. IT keeps growing, so go with the growth at My Computer Career. The right training, the right timing, the right career. Invest in you at mycomputercareer.edu. Start now.
Chiefs Kingdom, the NFL Draft is in our city. And to celebrate, Bud Light is throwing epic watch parties around Kansas City for the first round. On Thursday, April 27th, head to Tin Roof in Westport or Taps on Main in downtown KCMO to enjoy ice-cold drink specials as we welcome the newest players to our Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, presenting sponsor of the NFL Draft and the official beer of your Kansas City Chiefs.
Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
For the ones finding new job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional grade size, plus real-time product availability, access to experts ready to answer your toughest question. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it.
Are here for e-motors. So you ordered a new air filter fire. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right part, the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Here's to all our employees at General Motors, like Kendrick Davis from Bayshore, who worked as a trim team leader. He also loved to go out on the water and cast his lure for catfish. And to Roxy J. Williams from Kansas City, who is a senior material business manager and gets joy from remodeling homes in her area. Here's to all the men and women at Fairfax Assembly and Stamping who are committed to their jobs and committed to making an amazing life. Earn a living, make a life. Team GM.
Low testosterone affects many men today, even men as young as 30. But finding someone you can trust for quality low T treatment isn't so easy. This is Jeff, the CEO of Promenic Restorative Men's Health, and that's why I am pleased to announce the opening of Heartland Men's Health right here in Kansas City. Because as a Promenic affiliate, Heartland Men's Health has the experience and expertise to get treatment for your particular medical situation. Heartland Men's Health is the leader in treating low testosterone. In fact, we've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy, and improve mental clarity, better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will improve as well. But the best news is that all this will likely happen in just a few weeks. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
You've never had anything like Kentucky Fried Chicken's new chicken nuggets. They're so good, you'll hear a random choir singing every time you open the box. Don't believe me? Just listen. Box open.
KFC, chicken nuggets, KFC.
Box close. Open.
Original recipe and gravy, KFC.
Close. Can we get a remix? Order KFC's new chicken nuggets on the KFC app today. That's fingerling good. Prices and participation may vary.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motor Studios.
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking. Right side he wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Your official broadcast partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. 610 Sports Radio, KSP Kansas City, WDFHD2 Liberty, and Odyssey Station.
One o'clock hour, hanging out on a Monday. It's Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Nick Schwert. I'm Alex Gold. Expected to head out to Arrowhead in about 15 minutes or so. We'll keep an eye on that. That's where Patrick Mahomes will speak to the media. It's been a little while since we've heard from him. We heard from Andy Reid earlier today. Phase 1 of the offseason. So many phases.
How many phases are there?
I think, is it technically 3 or 4? Or I don't think they're like phase 8. I don't think we get up there.
I don't know. Honest, I'm dead serious. I don't know how many phases there are.
Minicamp draft, minicamp OTAs.
Seeing as how it's never come
camp.
up in conversation before, I don't think it really matters how many phases there are.
That's why we're joking about the phases. We're joking about the phases, Nick.
I don't know, because it seemed like you guys weren't joking about the phases. It seemed like you were taking the phases very seriously.
No, we're joking like phase 1.
I said phase 3 is my favorite.
I think one of you guys was joking. I think the other one was being kind of
You want to know the truth?
taking it a little too serious.
You want to know the truth? When I woke up this morning, and I can say for all three of us, had zero freaking clue today was phase 1.
Oh, really? I actually.
Oh, now you're taking it seriously.
Well, no, I'm not taking it seriously, but I knew what today was.
Oh, I just figured you were so focused in on the mock drafts that I'm waiting to see the new one this week.
We're in phase 3 of mock draft season. Phase 1
thought
of
it was 2.5.
That's now you're conflating things.
Okay, I thought it was just when you have a full round mock draft. It's a
You know
it's a
what?
full round.
I'll tell you what.
We already did our mock draft.
Open
if you're going to say that,
to you.
Hey, we already did ours.
No.
One and done.
No, if you want to see how the big boys roll,
I don't need
why
to
don't
see
you
it.
come sit in on the mock draft today?
No, you should. You guys.
Wow,
should,
see it and see it.
You guys
invite.
should charge for a live viewing of the podcast. I hear that goes for hundreds of dollars these days.
I don't know if it's hundreds. Well, like there are mock drafters who charge for their time, but I don't think it's hundreds. I think it's more in the 5 to 10 range.
But if you get like $2-3 from enough people,
that's true.
Adds up.
But you know what? We're not in it for the cash, even though it is lucrative.
Someone says there's 10. Phase 10 is the name of the game. Anyway, so.
I don't think that's
I know. So we'll head out to Arrowhead when Patrick Mahomes is ready. Whenever he's ready, he tells us, okay? Whenever he is ready, then we listen.
You don't rush Patrick Mahomes?
We don't rush Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Apparently nobody does. So we'll be waiting. We'll see.
Probably like actually doing stuff today. Andy probably spoke before they did stuff. And
I'm pretty sure he's down in Texas. That was the whole thing. Can I say about real quick? So last year, the big story was Mahomes working out in Texas with the receivers.
McCole wasn't there, and we talked about it.
I think by the way, I do think it was beneficial with the new wide receiver room. So I'm not saying it's not a big deal, but are we going to make it seem like it's this amazing thing again? And I feel I got the sense that was already happening during the Andy Reid press conference. Like people were asking about it. Like I expect it now, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I expect
it to work out.
I expect that.
I think the story is more who goes down with him. You know? And I know that varies per year, but if there's just like, let's say Sky Moore's on the team for 5 years and he never went down.
Right.
I'd be like, dude, are you planning on? And now he was at this workout, just to be clear.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, if for some reason he was on this team for 5 years and never managed to make the off-season trip to work out with a quarterback and be like, maybe one of these times. Like, I don't care if Kelsey ever goes. Pretty sure that relationship's fine.
Yeah. No, it's for new guys. It's for rookies or new guys to the system. Like, I would hope that at some point maybe Richie James, I don't know if he already is, but I would hope somebody like him would all of a sudden work out down in Texas. But in general, the whole notion of it, like last year was a big story. We don't need to make it a huge story this year. It's expected. Patrick Mahomes is going to have guys work out in Texas with him.
We know what kind of quarterback and his motivation. There'll be quarterbacks who don't do these kind of things. He will because he's Patrick Mahomes. He's motivated by greatness.
10 years from now, my guess is he's still doing it.
Yes. I mean, Tom Brady, don't you remember in the middle of the COVID year when they weren't allowed to have workouts? He got in trouble for like working out at a high school, coming out of the bushes with the rest of the players.
Mm-hmm.
That's clearly the kind of motivation Mahomes has towards this level of greatness. So there's no mystery here. Every year there will be video of him working out with some of his new wide receivers somewhere offsite.
The one thing during Andy Reid's press conference that was interesting, he was commenting on the whole NFLPA survey, which it's been a month at least ago, where the Chiefs did not grade out well, right? It went through how players, feel about the training staff, feel about the facility, feel about the food, frankly, in the facility as well. The training staff was as bad as it gets, which was shocking to all of us at the time based off of Rick Burkhalter's relationship, we thought and we think, with the players, certainly with Andy Reid, and also knowing that was right on the heels of the playoff run where they got praised, the entire staff, for how they handled the rehab and the plan they put together for the ankle of Patrick Mahomes, which allowed him, of course, to play and become a Super Bowl MVP again and win the Super Bowl. Andy, example of an explanation, I should say, of the situation I thought was kind of interesting. He basically was, how I took it, and maybe you didn't, how I took it was, they just didn't realize how we were going to described that it was early in the year when the survey was done, he said. And early in the year, there was maybe some newcomers that didn't understand how they operate their training room and how Rick Burkhalter operates their training room. And I took it as maybe in other places you're allowed to just hang around the training room. And training room, it's you're getting treatment or you're not in here. You're getting treatment and you get out. Kind of. That's how I took his answer. I don't know if that's how you did.
Here's the thing. Andy is an incredibly player-friendly coach from a few perspectives. He will defend you to his grave. He will never air out your stuff publicly. He will try to help you grow, all of these things. But I do think Andy can be a bit of a hard ass when it comes to stuff like this. Still makes his team drive out of town for training camp. Still runs one of the toughest training camps in all of the NFL, according to everyone. Listen to any new player who shows up and how hard of a practice he runs. Those are the things that I think are probably contributing to the training room. I bet they make you run a more vigorous rehab assignment than pretty much any team in the NFL, and I bet there are players who don't like that, Gold, because it makes it seem like you don't care about the injuries, and instead, they're just trying to make you rehab harder than other teams. Isn't that kind of your sense of it now, knowing how the Chiefs operate and the way Andy defended himself today on it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if essentially that they go through a harder rehab process as much as I just feel like it's a place where you're in there for a reason, right? Like you're in there for a reason. That's it. He also, I think maybe even more importantly going forward, and what was interesting about the facility stuff was discussing, he doesn't think they're behind on facilities, but acknowledged basically if they have other player facilities in the future, you're not going to put a whole lot into the facility now. Paraphrasing, but that's essentially what he said. Like, you're not going to upgrade the
facility. He's openly admitting the same thing we know. They're not going to be at Arrowhead forever.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't expect him to ever just renovate that stadium, right? You expect him to build a new one.
I think there's a percentage chance that they would renovate, but I think it's 10%? Far more, probably 20, 25, but I think it's far more likely that they eventually build a new Arrowhead than renovate a current Arrowhead again. Yeah, I believe that's how it would likely.
Do you think they'll still call it Arrowhead?
Well, yeah, because Arrowhead, again, GHA, right now it's...
I understand, but do you think that they'll still... Yeah. Because in my mind, it's no longer Arrowhead. Like, that's not what it is anymore,
so what,
objectively.
It's just going to be GHA Field entirely?
That's how other pro sports teams do it. I mean, it's not that crazy. Kansas City, again, we talked about this when we were talking about Kaufman.
One of the few.
It is a rare, special, very different circumstance.
Football,
and look, the second they move downtown, it's going to have... It's not going to be Kaufman. Yeah. It's going to be...
Right. Baseball's different for me.
H&R Block field.
Baseball's different. There's 80-plus games. It would be truly in a complete... If Arrowhead, where there's 8 home games a year...
It can be about the area.
And let's be honest, as great as Kaufman is, it's not great because we think it's just unbelievable atmosphere and the crowd. Like, Arrowhead has much. We can talk about venues in sports. Arrowhead is a nationally, if not internationally, known venue.
Sure.
Kauffman, we love it. It's not somebody in New York.
It is recognized amongst baseball fans as one of the better stadiums.
Right,
yes.
the people like it, but I don't think people in New York City, like the casual sports fan, knows the name of the Royal Stadium.
No, probably not.
Arrowhead
rings pretty much across.
Is.
Yes, it is.
But I'm with
Which you don't want to lose that name cachet. I'm sure. Honestly, I think the Chiefs probably will try to. I'm just saying.
You do the split.
It's objectively
thing.
not Arrowhead.
You do the split thing. You do the split thing where it's like what they're doing now. The same thing. It's
the Arrowhead complex.
Denver's changed sponsors 100 times. Sports Authority went out of business, so it was like Sports Authority Field at Mile High. So it's the same thing they have now.
Is it still Crypto.com in LA? They hold on to that one.
Well, Staples Center then switched to that crypto. One of them went up belly
That was
up.
the one that went bad, right? Crypto.com, wasn't it the one that went?
I think Crypto.com.
Got all those
I think
celebrities sued.
No, if Crypto.com is fine. It's the FTX or whatever the heck the other one is.
That one went bad.
That's the one that has the guy that's potentially headed to prison. What's his name?
Sam Bankman-Fried?
Guys.
What?
We cannot get political.
Is that political
at all, man?
We're just talking about one guy.
Well, you know who else got in legal trouble?
Who? Who else?
Don't make me say it.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it, Nick.
Just walked
No, I'm not
away.
walking into that bear trap, Gold.
Who else is in legal trouble?
The list is long.
Interesting.
A lot of
waiting.
political,
wait.
with a lot of
wait.
political ties.
Oh.
I'm waiting. I don't know who you're talking about, Nick. Please share.
Let's just say he dressed up like a wolf and went to Chiefs games.
So we talk about him all the time, man.
He's in quite a bit of legal trouble, so it turns out.
Dude, this is now. Are we almost at a month?
The 27th or 25th, 6th or 7th. So we got about a week.
Okay.
Once the draft, really, we should mark it the same. Draft Thursday is not only just the draft is in Kansas City for the first round, but also the 1 month mark that Chiefsaholic has been on the run. Really marks two equally impressive events at the same time when you think about it, which is its own.
Virtually the same historical significance.
Same historical significance. Oh man, no, I think they're admitting the thing we know. Like, and you know, like when you're listening to Andy earlier, we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes in a little bit because one of the things I expect him to be asked about is his contract. When the Jalen Hurts contract gets announced today, it got announced today. Patrick Mahomes is now the 5th highest paid on an average annual basis. We know that his money's a bit funny money because like Jalen Hurts from a total number, it's like he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. But we know it's not true because Mahomes is going to see every cent of that $500 million. It's just spread out more over time. Mahomes probably should be asked today, how much longer can you play on this contract and it not look ridiculous? Because you know who should be who's the most upset about it probably? The NFLPA. They hate it. They hate this deal because it makes it harder for everyone else to get paid or for every other organization. Let's say Cincinnati, who is a notoriously cheap franchise, to be like, hey, Joe, would you mind doing a sweetheart of a deal for us the way Mahomes did and sign on for 10 years and let us finagle your money in any way we want and we just get to decide that and you have no say and it's for less money than the top end guys are being paid? That's absurd. Why would Joe Burrow sign that? He doesn't have to. Mahomes has already done the team-friendly contract thing. It exists. So will he go back and do it again in which they will eventually have to rework his contract?
But again, when we say team-friendly, it's the structure of it really that makes it team-friendly.
Right now the dollar amount's also team-friendly.
Right now, but the structure is team-friendly. The dollar amount when he signed it wasn't team-friendly. It was the structure. The dollar amount looks team-friendly now because of the fee it provide and because we know how this works. At one point in time, Derek Carr was the highest paid quarterback in the league. That was a real thing for 3 months. Right now, Jalen Hurts, highest paid quarterback. That's going to last for like a month. Then it'll be Justin Herbert. Yeah. Then it'll be Joe Burrow. Then it'll be the next guy after that. Like, that's just how it goes in the NFL. Revenues increase. The quarterback's the most expensive, most important position, therefore the most expensive position in the league. So I'm not surprised. I think at some point there will have to be some restructuring, but I believe he will continue, even if the dollar goes up, to give the Chiefs flexibility with even a restructure in the future. I believe that is something that he will continue to do. There's no reason to believe that he will not.
Is there a chance that Burrow and Herbert just don't get paid this offseason? Because
I don't think there's a chance of that now. I think at least Joe Burrow's getting done.
Because in the Hurts, because they've got Hurts was a second-round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had a little less
yeah.
time on him than they do with these other two. But it's also Hurts has technically accomplished just as much as either of those guys, which is get to a Super Bowl and lose. Hell, Herbert's never even won a playoff game. If you're Joe Burrow, you don't sign for a cent till Herbert gets paid because he's going to get paid more than Hurts. We think. I'm pretty sure.
He might get 55, and then Burrow can shoot for 58 to 60.
God, I know it seems like it's bad news for the Chiefs, but they'll get some. We know that they're going to get some lead time before they have to fix this deal. I don't think
it'll be next offseason.
I don't think this summer we're going to have to do the story on the Chiefs that is they have renegotiated Patrick Mahomes' contract, and now he's making blank. It's going to be next year, right? So going into this year on an average annual, not for a cap hit this year. He's still, the second or highest third cap hit this season? Patrick Mahomes? Doesn't matter. If everyone else is being paid, I don't care. It works out great across the board. Again, I hope Mahomes answers about today because simply ask, what is the time before you have to renegotiate your contract is a fair one right now with Mahomes because at some point it's going to look untenable.
So overall annual average per year, Mahomes is now somewhere around 5th, and then when Herbert and Burrow get their deals, he'll fall to 7 or 8. For this year,
he's
though,
probably the
cap
highest
hit $39 million, the highest quarterback cap hit in football this year. Ryan Tannehill, second highest.
Excuse me?
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill, $36 million is the second highest. Then Lamar on the franchise tag, 32. Then it's Rodgers at 31.
Oh my God, this list.
Goff, Dak, Russell Wilson. Those are your top 7. Yeah.
So the big money on Josh Allen hasn't kicked in yet, is what you're telling me.
It is not. Josh Allen.
Wait, how's Deshaun? Oh, that's right. They moved Deshaun's money this year.
Yeah.
Next year is when he's $60 million as a cap hit.
Josh Allen's cap hit this year still only $18 million.
He's getting ready to take the bump.
Yeah.
Next year it'll be the high as Mahomes. It'll be $40 million or whatever. It happens across the board. We joke about Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert's contract.
Yeah, you want to look at 2020. You're asking for next year. So here, all of a sudden, 2024, Deshaun $63.9 million.
That's egregious.
Dak goes up to 59. Kyler Murray 51.
What?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Josh Allen goes to 47 and jumps ahead of Patrick Mahomes after this year.
So we're in the final golden era of your cap hit is low and you are cheap. Now look, they can still move that money around and everything else.
We say that, and it sounds nuts because the cap hit is low, and they're much higher than what the rookie contracts are. But just 10 years ago, we would have thought, man, $40 million, that's a crazy number. 5 years from now, $50 million for the best quarterbacks in the league will not seem that crazy.
I assume at some point during Patrick Mahomes' career, he will make $100 million a year. 10 years from now, that's about what the rate's been going up, don't you think?
Yeah, that's hard. Definitely can get to 80. That's not a problem, yeah.
Technically,
not
Rodgers...
this contract, a couple contracts.
Isn't Rodgers $60 mil over next year?
Again, are we talking one time or average, right?
No, I'm talking one time.
Because Deshaun's $69 million next year.
Or 63, yeah. Right? Is it 69 next year?
I thought I said 69 earlier.
Oh my God, I thought it was 62 or 3.
Just close the tab.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. It's an egregious amount. No, I think there'll be a year. I don't think on an average annual basis, no. But I think there's a year that Patrick Mahomes will earn $100 million in a contract.
Someone says, why do you guys assume they have to redo the Mahomes deal? What happens if they don't? He can't get out for 8 years.
What is he, just the most friendly quarterback?
Because, guys,
this is like the Sour Perez conversation. People at that time be like, why do they have to rework his deal? I'm like, because it's offensive. At some point, it's offensive how low they're paid compared to other people.
To me, it's not even it's not an offensive thing in Mahomes' case. It's just we know how sports work. I get a mega deal. It's a 5-year-old mega deal. I don't just say, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I don't. My agent's like, we don't need to go and try to seek more money. I'm not saying he's going to hold them over the fire here, right? But still, as Nick is nodding his head weirdly, I don't know why.
Why is that weird if I'm nodding in agreement?
It was really weird.
I was just saying, good point. Good point.
You should say it out loud every time you think someone's making a good point, Nick.
No. I wanted to let you talk.
It was a really slow motion nod, like you were waiting on something.
Were you listening to music back there?
No, I was like, yes. Anyway. Yeah, go off, King.
Anyway, because I just think that's how sports work. He's not going to just be like, you know what, I'm good with my deal from 5 years ago. He still will be flexible in a restructure. I just don't think we never. By the way, the day he signed that 10-year contract, nobody said, "Oh yeah, he's just going to play all the way through 10, and nobody's going to adjust then."
But we also knew that at that time, even when he signed it, agents hated it, the NFLPA hated it, Other free agent quarterbacks hated. Everyone hated it. The only people who loved it are the Chiefs. Yeah. And I guess Mahomes, because he signed that contract and still got, at least right now, one more Super Bowl while wearing it.
Thinking of Patrick Mahomes, we're still waiting his press conference, media availability, running late here. And if he's available before the end of the show, we certainly will go out there. There was something that occurred as Nick is still nodding his head at me.
I'm not looking at you, man.
Purpose,
I'm sorry.
On purpose.
Oh.
Nick, there was an issue involving you earlier in the show because last week.
That's not necessarily true.
Oh, you said we should talk about this.
Okay, what happened?
I don't think I would categorize it as an issue involving me.
Last week, Carrington came in studio, right? And we finally said, all right, it's time to just nip this in the bud. So we did. Grab headphones.
We started placing some of the stuff outside of the door.
He brought it back in studio. He said, I just want to come back in. Like, no, there was a reason why we put it out there. You're in the middle of our segments. You keep coming in. So he stopped. We think the new thing now, though, Nick, poor Nick, now I think it's become a conference setting behind Nick where conversations happen in Nick's room.
Oh. Nick, have we driven the traffic towards you?
Well, so it was kind of like this slow trickle in that 11 o'clock hour during that, just absolutely electric Andy Reid press conference. That guy talks, everybody wants to listen. So B-Dub came in and was just eyes glued to the monitor, listening to every word that came out of our fearless leader's
Looking for
mouth.
stuff to talk about, sure.
Right. And then another 610 sports personality trickled in. And then they wanted to talk about something completely different. And then a third person came in and they wanted to talk about something completely. So they weren't all coming in for the same reason. It was just like all of a sudden, there were 4 people in this room. I had no idea what you guys talked about during that 15-minute chunk of the show. Not a clue.
It was some of our best content of the day.
God, we could have really done something with that. And you'll never know? Will you go back and listen tonight?
I could know.
Will you go back and listen tonight for us?
Do you need me to?
I don't want you to miss any part of the show.
Do I need to?
No.
Okay.
Wow, you just said some of our most electric stuff, and now you're saying he doesn't have to listen to it?
He doesn't need to listen to it, though.
Thank you.
Should we get a lock for the door?
I just
yeah. Lock myself, barricade myself in. The last time somebody at 610 Sports Radio locked the door,
the police were called.
Wasn't great. It wasn't great. So I'm not going to. And I don't want to follow in that guy's footsteps.
Yeah, they had to break that. My understanding is they had
big footsteps.
I think they had to
that was for the same reasons, Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just to keep people up because, hey, I got work to do in here.
Yeah, but the problem is if you can lock it and you decide to go the other way with it,
I'll tell you what.
It gives you a lot of freedom.
Couple of the conversations that I was having with these people were somewhat relevant to this show and our job in general. One of the conversations just couldn't have been less.
Can you give us a brief preview of it? What was it about?
No, I cannot. I absolutely cannot, and do not push it because you'll regret it. I'm dead serious.
I'll regret it?
Yes, you'll regret this conversation coming up.
You said that makes me want to know even more.
Then right now, I want you to close your eyes and think about what's the worst thing we could possibly talk about on the air right now.
There's a long list.
Yeah, but think about time sensitive, time relevancy, and then move on.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I know you're not doing it, so I'm not really talking to you, Gold.
Yeah.
I think you're kind of picking up what I'm saying more than
you.
numbnuts over there. He's just coming.
What did I do?
You know what you did. Poking and prodding, and sometimes you don't know what you're going to find.
What was the conversation relevant to our job?
Okay.
Was it about Andy Reid?
He really
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to know. That's all. Just looking for a little insight to what happened when you got shut in there for 15 minutes, trapped with at least 6 to 8 members of.
I think there's a door on a note on the outside that says, if the light's on, don't come in.
Is there really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's being ignored.
Yeah.
Regularly. Mm-hmm. Look, we got some work to do. We have driven traffic to one room. Now what we got to do is drive traffic out of that room. We're almost there.
All right, coming up next, we may hear from Patrick Mahomes if he steps up to the podium in the next half hour. So we'll also get into what one wide receiver had to say, and it turns out it's the opposite of the conversation we're having. Maybe he doesn't want so much money after all.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio and the Odyssey app.
You talk on the radio. Yeah. You're a fanboy.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANN asphalt.com.
Hey guys, it's Nick Schwartz here. I have been on this fitness journey for about a month now. I'm feeling better than I have ever felt in my life. I really mean that. And it's thanks in large part to 213 Flashpoint. I start every day with it. I don't have the midday cravings. I don't have those crashes around 2 p.m. And it just makes me feel better throughout the day and get done the stuff I know I need. Last week, I went into Supplement Superstore for a little monthly checkup. I wanted to see the progress I've been making, and I stepped on the scale, and I found out that I've gained about 5 pounds of muscle, and I've lost almost 4.5 pounds of fat in 4 weeks. The results were shocking to me, but in reality, it shouldn't be. Because these kind of results are easily obtainable, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without Supplement Superstores. I never had a plan before. They helped make me a plan. They introduced me to 213 Flashpoint, and now I feel like I have this routine that works for me. Try 213 Flashpoint. It's made a huge difference for me. I think it can help you too. Check it out at any of the 8 Supplement Superstores locations in the KC metro area.
Turn a loss into a win with BetMGM, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Place a 1-game parlay wager with at least 4 legs on any MLB game, and if all the legs of the parlay hit but one, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to $25. Just log into your account or download the app and sign up with BetMGM to get started. Then just opt in to the 1-game parlay insurance promotion to receive up to $25 back in bonus bet with 4 legs or more loses by just 1 leg. Only at BetMGM, the place to bet on baseball. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager, Kansas only. New and existing customers offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey, it's Kris Harrison from The Drive here. Do you remember how cold it got this winter? Well, it was a chilly one. And if you notice the cold air pouring through those old leaky windows, well, guess what? When it gets hot summer, the exact opposite is going to happen. All of that cool air is going to escape through those leaky windows, and that hot air is going to come in. So I'm telling you right now to replace those old windows and keep your house cool this summer with the official window of the Kansas City Chiefs over at Window World. Their windows are one of 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval, a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, Window World is offering 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. So pick up the phone right now and call this number for a free home estimate, 816-799-0820. And they can show you how they are simply the best for less. Remember this phone number, 816-799-0820, or check out the website, windowworld.com.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Without the ones like you who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial and real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? Good news. There's a new way out. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative. Call U.S. Tax Shield, A+ rated with the BBB. 800-391-5063 for your free consultation, and let U.S. Tax Shield protect you from the IRS.
The once-a-year jewelry event everyone waits for is here. Starting Friday, Diamonds Direct takes value to a whole new level with an extra 20% savings on just about everything. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, and more. You get Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable price, plus an extra 20% off. Thousands of engagement ring mountings included. Plus, acclaimed jewelry designers will be in store with an expanded selection. All the latest styles and trends, all on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Diamonds Direct store-wide spring event starting Friday. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor, I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get done.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save on the brands you trust. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Power Stack Max back for $199. Get a select DeWalt Bear tool free with savings starting at $139. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase. Battery and charger not included with 3 items. Valid for 5 free.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that Auto Trader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with Auto Trader, a dealer can deliver cars to home or that I could shop by price. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. Auto Trader.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Underlanders.com.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
Anthony's best deal of the year just got even better. Right now, when you purchase a new AC, the furnace is free. Plus, receive a 12-year parts and labor warranty and guaranteed next-day installation, or we pay you $500. Schedule online today at anthonyphce.com.
What's trending?
Hot topics trending.
Number one on what's trending, as we've been talking throughout the day, a huge contract in the NFL. Jalen Hurts agreeing to a 5-year, $255 million extension with the Philadelphia Eagles. That makes him the highest paid player in NFL history. $51 million per year is the average salary, $179 million of which are guaranteed. There's also a no-trade clause included in that. Jalen Hurts coming off a season in which he was, for a good chunk of it, a real MVP candidate prior to the injury. I actually do believe, even though we disagreed with the numbers that would have led him to it, based on narratives, I think he was going to win it. I think
so too.
I didn't like the logic because the numbers were way more in favor of Mahomes, but the narrative and everything he was doing, I think Jalen Hurts, and he was the betting favorite before the injury too.
Not a big betting favorite.
Yeah.
They'd really tightened up across the board. He'd gotten himself up to probably minus, or maybe like low plus money, but he was like a heavy favorite around week 8 or 9. Mahomes closed the gap, and then the injury, of course, and then Mahomes never gave up that title. Also, he was tremendous in the Super Bowl. He played a truly great game. He just got beat by Patrick Mahomes, which is probably something a few quarterbacks are going to say by the end of this thing when it's all said and done. Next up on What's Trending, the Twins have signed Pablo Lopez to a 4-year, $73 million extension to remain with them. That's buying out 1 year of arbitration remaining on his deal after the Twins traded for him this offseason for Luis Arias. Seems like a pretty good deal for the Twins based on the fact they've gotten early good returns out of Lopez. But Arias is performing well in Miami, so maybe this is just one of those, it's working out great for both sides situations.
Is Pablo Lopez the name of the kid from Backyard Baseball?
Pablo Sanchez?
Oh, that was Pablo Sanchez. He was the fastest kid in that game. Did you play that game a lot?
Dude, it was one of my favorite games.
Dude, so good.
I played backyard soccer and backyard baseball.
Well, Pablo Sanchez was like S tier. It was cheating because he was so fast in every game.
I have his profile pulled up.
Let's hear it.
All right. Pablo Ramon Sanchez, recurring playable character, Backyard Sports Series, considered the best all-around athlete and teammate, known for his good sportsmanship, his natural ability to lead. His friends were Joey McAdoo. You remember Joey McAdoo from the game?
Yes, of course.
The announcers, by the way, fantastic too. The announcers.
What's funny is I never was drafting Pablo for his leadership skills.
He had the white shirt with the backwards snapback.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the real ones remember Pablo
According
Sanchez.
to this skill rating baseball card I'm looking at it, his batting was 4 baseballs out of 4, running 4 out of 4, fielding 4 out of 4, pitching only 3 out of 4. Need to work on the pitching game.
He's a 3-tool player. Is that not enough?
I think that's how
he's pretty much by history. He's pretty much Shohei Ohtani.
This is the problem with baseball now. You know, we got so many different stats to look at. Just give me batting, running, pitching, fielding, and give me how many baseballs they go out of 5 or 4, and that's all I need.
Oh, dude, somebody on the text line is bringing up Pete Wheeler was the fastest. And this profile says he is notable for his physical speed, yet mental slowness. I don't recall that. Again, they're really diving into these guys' characters, which I don't ever remember thinking about. By the way, if they made
Little League character,
they made these backyard games for iPhone, I'd buy all of them.
iPhone would be great. You know they didn't make.
You could probably buy them like on a Nintendo Switch.
Right? But you're right though. If they made a same build up a team. I like playing the soccer one because you could move up to the different soccer leagues. Like there's different levels of it.
I didn't know you could advance through those. No.
Absolutely, man. I was a big backyard baseball fan.
Gosh.
And soccer fan.
Nostalgia's just getting me right now.
Mm-hmm. Jocinda Smith was another one. Nickname MVP.
That must have been a motivator for
earn it. Yeah, because backyard football had real real
that one wasn't as good because of that. I didn't like it as much because it was real.
Oh, really?
I liked
you know?
Yeah, okay.
Well, you had drafts. Like, you would sit there, it would be like a draft. Like, first pick, second pick. It was great.
Next up on What's Trending. NBA playoffs continue tonight. Early game will be the Sixers and Nets. Philadelphia already with a one-game lead in that series. Also the late game and probably the more interesting series in general. How about the Sacramento Kings, a 1-0 lead already on the Golden State Warriors. That after a week full of early round action. The biggest surprise, though, was the Miami Heat defeating the Bucks yesterday with 130-107. Hero broken hand. Giannis got hurt in the game, though. And then, of course, the Lakers with a 128-112 win. LeBron and company, here come the Lakers, the late season surge.
Next up on What's Trending, Nick Caserio said he's planning on leaving in a weird fashion as he was exiting because there's been rumors that he's going to go back to New England after the draft and all this, rather than stay with the Texans. But then when he was leaving, he compared himself to the character of Wolf of Wall Street, saying, I feel like that character, obviously referencing the I'm not leaving, right? The entire
Jordan
emotional
Belfort,
moment.
Leo DiCaprio.
What happened to the end of that movie? Does the rest of that matter at all?
Well, he goes to prison.
Oh. Okay. So maybe
Nick Caserio's seen the meme, probably hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah.
Is that what that feels like?
Yeah, like in hindsight, Jordan Belfort probably wishes he would have left.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. He seems like...
But honestly, Nick Caserio does deserve to go to prison for what he's done to that franchise. For what he has done to that franchise.
That's a good point.
By the way, I found a website, Nick, where you can play backyard baseball. It loads up like the old 2000. Like,
you want to play?
I'm gonna start right now. I'm gonna start right now, man. I'm gonna try to build it up.
Use it to finish the show.
The graphics.
Nah, we're good. You got this.
Here's the problem: is the graphics are so bad. Now.
Who cares?
But it's incredible. I'm in the menu. I ready to go.
You'll be fine.
I think you got Pablo. Did you have Pablo on the team?
I don't know. It says press start to continue. I'm trying to figure out how to press start without having a controller.
I would say click.
Enter's the button. Oh, I can do home run derby, quick play, single game, season play. I'm gonna do a quick play. Can I pick my team? Oh, Vinny the Gooch and Sunny Day. Those are the two announcers.
Oh man,
yeah. That's a great fake announcer names. Honestly.
Yeah. There you go.
Good luck.
That's
good luck in your game after.
Yeah. Oh, they did have real players because it's Sammy Sosa against Giambi, so it was a mix.
Maybe it was later on.
No, because I just hit a double with Sammy Sosa. So
wow, you already got the hang of things.
We're rolling.
No shaking the rest off for you, man.
Right out of
anyway.
Right out of bed.
I don't think we're gonna hear from Mahomes. Do you? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
What you think he's no showing
for our show? My guess is he'll come on later. We can't take him anyway.
I was told.
Oh, update
by Chiefs PR, who also said that fingers crossed, hopefully soon. So does that give you a ton of confidence?
Soon could be 2 minutes or 25 minutes. Let's be real. It was initially 1:15.
Peel behind the curtain. This doesn't happen in the next 15 seconds. The timing just doesn't work. That's it. Down. If they show up in the next 15 seconds, we're good to go.
Well, that was 8 seconds ago.
Otherwise, there's not enough time. So they're probably down to 5 seconds now.
In the meantime,
is he there?
Maybe he's busy talking to DeAndre Hopkins. I'm sure that it is.
You know what you would be great at?
Oh boy,
is a filibuster. You just went to like some sort of I know when I know so little about politics. I don't even know when filibusters come into the equation. But whenever that does happen,
when sports betting's trying to pass Missouri,
you would be great at just sitting there and just talking and filling the void with sound for hours. I think you could do it, and you wouldn't, because you don't care if anyone's listening or talking back. You'll just go.
This is the second time in the last week where you have said something that I think you were saying like you mean it.
I don't mean it as a compliment or an insult. It's just is what it is. It's a statement of fact.
The other one was last week in which you told me you don't feel like a coffee drinker, and then you said you seem like the kind of person who just wakes up and just like are just like full of energy immediately, like
that's
almost
uncomfortable. That's not a knock at all.
How is that a knock?
He said it like it was an insult. But he said it like it was offensive.
But what would the possible offense taken be on your behalf?
I thought it was your way of saying like, calm down. Could you just calm down a little?
Probably.
No, I don't
just take it in.
I don't care about your energy level, whether you are high energy, low energy.
Well, Cody already told us earlier he's going to be higher than all the parents at the zoo.
That's true. He didn't
tell us that. He's going to be chaperoning the zoo. He said he's going to be higher than all the parents.
Oh, you were looking to see if that clip was in there? Not so much.
No. And I'll tell you, Cody, I don't care that you talk. Like, it doesn't affect me. I'm not going home at night thinking, if only Cody would have shut his yap today, I could have had a...
See, the way you're saying it does not make me feel that way.
Oh,
Seems
man.
like it does affect you.
Maybe you're projecting your insecurities onto me.
Oh, now we're turning into a deep conversation.
Yeah, you want to lay down on the couch?
This is going to go back to the, do I need to see a therapist? You know? We've had this conversation on the show. And then openly discuss my therapy on the show.
I wouldn't suggest the second part. But if you want to see...
Could you imagine like a real... Oh, my goodness. Real therapy on the show.
Therapy helps a lot of...
On the show.
It's a good thing.
On the show, though.
If you need therapy, you should seek it.
Right, I wouldn't do it publicly, and I wouldn't reveal the findings of whatever you discuss with your therapist on the show.
Oh, you think that should be remained? Maybe I could discuss that with my therapist. Maybe you shouldn't tell me. Maybe instead I should discuss it with them if I'm allowed to discuss it.
Well, you don't have a therapist,
publicly.
but hypothetically, if you did have one, then yes, that you can discuss whatever you want with therapists.
Yeah, including whether or not it's good to discuss the things we do in therapy on this show.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, sure.
You don't think there's a single therapist who'd say that this could be a good outlet for that?
Well, you already have the outlet.
Therapists don't tell you what to do, Cody.
That's true.
They're not bossing you around.
But if I ask them if it's a good idea, they'll probably say yes or no.
Again, I don't know, man. Do you think that's the best use of your time and money? Of like spending money to go see a therapist for a bit, basically?
No.
For a radio bit?
I'm going to get in there. You'd be like, all right, so what's the radio bit? You'd be like, no radio bit. Really needed it. Very deeply needed therapy. So.
They're going to like that. Your therapist is going to like that a lot, I'm sure.
I'm not saying I would do it just for a radio bit. Again, I've agreed with you. Therapy is a good thing. People should seek it out.
Everyone?
I don't know about everyone, but probably more people than we think.
Do you think Gold needs to see a therapist?
I don't think it hurt. You know?
Yeah.
I think some good could come out of anybody. You know?
Sure.
Myself included.
Right.
I think you were getting ready to transition.
I was about to talk about Deandre Hopkins.
Speaking of therapy.
DeAndre Hopkins didn't say a whole lot, but that's actually still what's interesting about it over the weekend. He really didn't say a whole lot, but he was at this fishing competition that was on CBS, and they went through an exercise.
That's right.
Yeah, and they asked him basically just with emotional expression or facial expression to acknowledge a team he might be interested in. So asked the Patriots, and he kind of just like looks away. Didn't look like he was interested. When the question came about your Chiefs or the Bills, he kind of interest perked up a little bit. You could tell his facial expression changed. Now that shouldn't really be breaking news because obviously DeAndre Hopkins would be more interested in playing for Buffalo and Kansas City than New England. I think we could have all said that, but it's coming from the player. Then later that day, he sends out a tweet and says, "I don't need a raise."
Wasn't it more third person than that? Didn't it say?
Yeah, he was quoting himself. Like, he doesn't need a raise. Nuke.
Yeah.
He has since deleted the tweet.
I assume at the advice of his agent.
I don't think it changes anything. I thought all along he's not going to get a new deal anymore based off of the reporting from the last 3 weeks. And I don't think we can even acknowledge the Chiefs an option anymore unless he gets cut. And even then, it's going to take a significant decrease in pay. Because if I'm Hopkins, I'm looking at what Beckham on the open market. Why am I going to be the one that's going to sign for a $6 million deal?
Would think, yeah, and I understand this notion, or they would just need to make it so incentive laden, like, look, you're going to hit all these, but an incentive so we can spread this money around. This would be the perfect opportunity, Gold, to, like, the perfect opportunity to do one of these void year contracts. D-Hop would be like, that'd be the guy, man. $6 million cap paying for the next 3, and who cares? Yeah. You're paying him $2-3 million each of the next 4 years when he's not on your team. Or if you decide long term, it makes more sense, fine. But there is a logic in it if he gets cut. To me, I do think he has signified, based on the amount of talking, like the very little talking he's done, the things he's said, makes it clear to me that he's trying to tell the good teams is where he wants to go. Hi, good teams. I'd like to be with you. And I understand you'd be like, doesn't everybody want to be a good team? No, money plays a big factor here. The quality of team you play, like Odell Beckham Jr. took the big. Not saying the Ravens aren't a good franchise, but he took the biggest check. He could have been with a better team. He could have been with a better team with a better chance to win a Super Bowl. Hell, he probably could have been with 5 teams with a better chance to win a Super Bowl. He chose the single biggest check. I think DeAndre Hopkins has made it kind of clear to me that that is not his end-all particular offseason. Maybe not ever, because Hopkins has asked for raises and gotten them. Hell, that's what got him out of Houston.
Right.
But maybe he realized that that wasn't the thing that made it worth it. You can do that once and then be like, that's not going to get me there. And if you cut me, I'm going to get all the money from you, and I'll just figure out how to make more going forward.
We're 10 days away from the draft, and if you're the Cardinals, to me, there's no reason him, even if we're going to, until after the draft. You want to see if a team on draft day, the 3 days of the draft, somebody gets a little desperate, they don't get who they want, maybe you can work out a mid-round draft pick or late draft pick and trade them and get something for them. After the draft, though, I think he gets cut. If that doesn't happen, and that's when it becomes, I think, a chance. Right now, I think the Chiefs getting Hopkins is like
trade.
Is it
0?
It might as well be 0. I was gonna say like 2%. Yeah, I mean it's nothing. Becomes a free agent. I think it goes up a little bit. I don't think it's as likely today as it was 3 weeks ago, just because of they're further along the process, and I just think at some point
they brought another wide receivers now.
You just move on. And also, let's see what the Chiefs do in the draft. We were talking earlier how all 3 of us are leaning more and more towards them not taking a wide receiver at 31 because we think you can get a very similar value player later in the draft. So if the Chiefs, though, change that, and let's say they surprise all of us and they trade up and get a wide receiver or something, well, then
it's done.
Then it's done. Yeah, then it's done.
I mean, because that's it. It killed conversation at that point.
Yeah, pick 31, wide receiver, more like why receiver? Like, why would you pick one there?
Honestly, not your worst.
Is that a joke you're saving for the character? You were going to save for the character?
No, I got to get it out of the way. We're recording right after the show today. So
was that a bank joke?
I saved my A+ stuff for the character concerns joke.
Oh, so that's just warming you up.
That's not, I don't like that. To hear that.
What? Get the bad ideas out now.
Wow. You said you saved your, for this show.
Well, I mean, we got 4 hours.
This is your main job.
We got 4 hours.
That's a side project.
I mean, if we really want to peel the curtain back, we've been sort of vamping for the last half hour waiting for Patrick Mahomes to step up to the podium.
Yeah, it's already almost 150.
Is he talking now?
It's supposed to be 115.
Yeah.
Oh, 150. Oh, maybe we got the memo wrong.
No, I'm pretty sure it said 115.
I mean, I'm looking
they may have said 115.
115.
And you thought they said 115.
No, the email definitely said 115.
Oh, you read it?
Yep.
Okay.
In fairness, I did forward it to both of you. So
115.
Yeah, I read it as well.
115.
And it said?
115.
It did say 115.
Okay. So do you regret saying that you do less hard work on this show versus
That's not what I said.
You
save
good
your
material.
Best stuff for the other show.
Jack White, you think we save his best stuff for the side project, not the white stripes?
He's had a successful solo career. So, artists don't really pick and choose. You just kind of you say what comes to mind, and that's kind of what happened to me. I'm backtracking.
The point is, you don't like wide receiver in the first round, and I think at this point, none of us do.
Not anymore, man. Not anymore.
This is why I'm still interested in Deandre Hopkins, because I will immediately go, like, if for some reason they got this deal done before the draft, which I don't think would be the case.
First, yeah.
By the way, is the opposite true for you? Let's say the Chiefs don't draft a wide receiver until the 5th round.
Yeah.
Do you then think, they're way in play for DeAndre Hopkins? They are interested in that deal, and it makes sense, and we're in this conversation, or is it mean nothing towards that deal one way or the other?
We're further enough along now that what they do in the draft as far as later rounds, there's no way they're going to be more interested. Okay, like there's no way the Chiefs are going to be more interested, in my opinion. Either they are or they aren't at this point. So for me, it's after the draft, he has to get cut. Trade scenarios are not happening. He has to get cut for me to even be interested. And then after that, it's going to come down to whether or not he's willing to come to terms with what I'm willing to offer. We're not going to reach a certain dollar amount. It's pretty clear the Chiefs.
Yeah, you're drawing you're saying if you're the Chiefs, you draw a firm line in the sand of here's the money.
And my guess is deep down,
this is the money.
My guess is deep down at this point, if you're asking me to pick one and the other, like I can't say still very much interested. We can't even have that conversation again until he becomes a free agent.
Here's the thing, though. If he signs, there is an argument for playing a 1-year contract in Kansas City if you get cut. There isn't, obviously, if the trade had gone down or something gone differently. But based on the amount of money he is owed on the contract and what he'll make just by being cut by Arizona, if he signs a 1-year deal in Kansas City, playing with Patrick Mahomes, where he will clearly be the number one wide receiver, which he will be in a lot of situations, but there are other teams in which it would be a little more in flux as far as wide receiver goes. He'd be the number 2 target, but the number 1 wide receiver, I mean, you can get yourself paid that way. I know that Juju Smith-Schuster's numbers came in a little bit lower, but that was just across the board. Juju still got paid. This is his first multi-year extension. This is the only big money Juju Smith-Schuster's ever made, $33 million. And he was paid like a top-end wide receiver in free agency this year, absent the one weirdo contract from Odell Beckham Jr.
Look, I still would love to Kansas City. I just kind of...
Be fun.
It's one of those, I'm not even worrying about it for another 2 weeks. We'll see if he gets cut, but I think he would in that wide receiver room. Oh, Mahomes now started talking.
Great. Go to it. Let's just go to it.
Yeah, just carry that. All right. Just go ahead and take that. Yep. We'll let you know if anything significant comes from that tomorrow on the show. You're off tomorrow because you're parents at the zoo tomorrow is what you told us. So we'll see how that goes. Nick and I are hosting the show together tomorrow at 10 a.m. Cody, we'll see you on Wednesday. We'll talk to everybody.